Ippon! Welcome to Strongest Style, a pro wrestling podcast. I am your host, the living legend Logan Hurston, and still the Strongest Style World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm of course joined by my co-host, the Gimmick Killer, Cooper Prater.
Bonswa le Haters.
And lastly, not to forget, he is a giant, the man with the greatest combination of last names in pro wrestling history, Mr. Jack Rhodes Dudley.
It's the summer of bars.
Bro lost. Bro lost to the Alpha.
He's the most dominant man in professional wrestling. It was one loss. We're coming back for Jake Lee's head tomorrow morning.
That is
Strike it from the record.
Or I guess
didn't happen.
When is the
next show is the 31st, is Friday.
Whenever it's getting uploaded, he will have already beaten Lee and will be well on the way to winning again.
You say that. It's a
great match, by the way. We will get there.
It's the summer of Sonata, brother. That's what it actually is.
It might well be. It's going to be the fall of Sonata when he wins the title back at King of Pro Wrestling.
That would actually be the funniest option.
Dude, the Sonata, I mean, I don't want to go...
We'll get into it later. We'll save it.
You guys always bait me into talking about it right at the beginning. We're not doing that.
I mean, all right. Well...
I'm saving my thoughts.
Welcome back to Strongest Style.
Welcome back.
It's been a jam-packed week of wrestling on the play. We got 20 G1 matches to discuss today. We have a whole stinking AEW pay-per-view to discuss. But as always...
longest collision there ever was.
But more importantly, we have the news, and Mr. News himself, Cooper Prater, is going to run down some bullet points.
That's right. I did dig up the news with my handy news hound. I was letting them sniffle through all the dark and dank channels of the wrestling industry to find some news to talk about. And boy, did he deliver, because mostly the general gist of the week that I could gather up has a core theme of the World Wrestling Federation continuing to be the one and only great Satan, not only of this great sport, but perhaps of the world as we know it.
It might be the worst company on God's green earth.
Perhaps. Many are saying this. And this is even before, this is not even getting into having fucking Ryan Garcia on their show.
Gosh.
Just this past one day to have a little banter with my former good buddy Danhausen, which, by the way, friendship with Danhausen ended. Right? Officially ended.
But what if he gets you on the Danhausen freeze truck, brother? What would you do then? If he gets
what is the freeze tour? Why is it called that?
It's the Danhausen freeze tour, brother.
It's like an ice cream truck.
Yeah, you can get your little Danhausen ice cream bars.
I didn't realize that's what that was. Okay.
And you get your human monies, you know? Don't you love
I thought it was like a Lex Express situation. I thought he was going to be on the thing.
I mean,
around the world.
He is riding around the U.S. giving out, I guess, popsicles or some type of frozen treats.
I think he's only riding around Minneapolis for the show. I don't think he's doing a global or a nationwide tour
of Jack, around the whole world.
It's funny, Cooper. You could start with that intro and you get, like you said, we're not even talking about the Garcia thing. I feel like you could say what you said any given week and like 3 occurrences come to mind. What could be the awful thing that happened in WWE this week?
It really is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I will tell you this particular week, the bit of Federation devilry that I have to talk about. It is maybe some stuff that some of their fucking little pervert sycophants will defend as being not their fault. But I think that if you think that it's already too late for you. We're gonna have to leave you behind. And so I am talking, of course, just this past week, ESPN who is a partner to the WWE. They obviously have been airing the pay-per-views on the ESPN apps as of late, and made a whole big stink about this last year when they first got in bed together, and the Peacock deal was sort of petering out, and then the Fox deal was kind of petering out a little bit, I think. But then they signed on to ESPN, and it was this weird situation where, like, I think at first, like, their subscription was something crazy, like $30 a month or whatever, to watch, I don't know, Crown Jewel. So, it's a big partnership that they have. It's a big money partnership that they have, WWE and ESPN now. And when that first started, ESPN would put out reviews of the WWE pay-per-views that aired on their network. Those reviews were written up by a guy named Andreas Hale. Now, Andreas Hale has worked for ESPN for a number of years, and is, a pretty, decently respected, just sports writer, commentator, analyst, whatever, mostly focusing on combat sports. So MMA, boxing, now pro wrestling. And he would put out these WWE show reviews, and his whole thing is that he gives the shows that he watches a letter grade at the end of the reviews. Well, unfortunately for Andreas, he did his journalistic duty and wrote what he thought about the shows that WWE was putting out. And I believe the first one of these was WrestlePalooza last year, and he gave that show a C rating. Now, C, if you recall your time in grade school, is the middle grade that you can get. It is not, the best thing in the world. It is also not the worst thing. It is middling. But WWE pervert freak sycophants, like I said before, who at this time were riding the extreme highs of being in this new boom period for WWE. They took this as a great affront to the sanctity of their preferred sports entertainment. And they not even just that, for the fan reaction to it, but it seemed as though WWE themselves were, a little hostile to a review being put out by their new promotional partner not being just unquestioningly flattering of their product. So Andreas kept writing WWE show reviews for at least, I think, a couple pay-per-views more, but dropped the letter grades from them. Now, he was giving letter grades to the UFC shows that he was reviewing, and I think so, the boxing shows that he was reviewing, but just not to the WWE shows. And then he just stopped covering the WWE shows altogether. And then, just this year, I remember, and I can't believe that this did not get picked up more in the news cycles than it did, although I can, because this is a captured industry. He was denied his press credentials to get into WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So they do not like this guy, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And he was just laid off from his job this week at ESPN. Now, like I said, ESPN laid off a number of people this week in varying positions of hierarchy in that company. Some on-screen personalities for their analyst shows, some writers for their website, et cetera, et cetera. So you could, in theory, say that this does not necessarily indicate anything having to do with WWE, that this is just an ESPN decision. I think that if you think that, then I can fucking sell you land on the moon. So that is not great that I think a guy, from every angle that I can view it at least, got fired for essentially just doing his job and saying what he thought about a professional wrestling company or the shows that they were putting out. And then to pile onto this, speaking of WWE's media capture of this industry in its entirety.
I was about to mention this. I still you're talking about.
Yeah. SiriusXM, the nationwide radio broadcaster, has had a programming block dedicated to professional wrestling, Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, in which this was the host station for Busted Open Radio, Dave LaGreca's little fucking Strongest Style wannabe show, where he brings on old farts from the past to at various points discuss different happenings in pro wrestling. So it was announced this week that Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 would be rebranded officially as WWE Radio. In case you couldn't make it any more clear as to what their intentions are.
It's genuine, like, we're laughing, but it is pretty awful. I mean, I get, like, it's funny because they're so transparent, but it's pretty awful. It's a pretty awful, I don't know, WWE has clearly always wanted to kind of control the media scape surrounding them. I mean, they're famous for, and since they became the last company really in town in the U.S. after WCW went down, they became famous for, bringing guys over, signing guys from other companies, and then pretending like they didn't have any past in professional wrestling before, just refusing to ever mention any company besides them, kind of hoping that people would grow up associating wrestling just only as WWE and not knowing that there's anything else out there. And it has kind of worked. I mean,
which they have been largely successful at.
Largely successful at. But this is a whole nother step in the same sort of thing. One that is upsetting to me because, I mean, Busted Open Radio was, dog shit. We all have clowned on it before. It was not a good program, but it was an independent program, and they did cover all kinds of wrestling, even if sometimes they had shitty, stupid opinions. I mean, they were favorable to WWE, like, famously, but they also covered, AEW and TNA and all kinds of other wrestling
AEW
programs.
Contracted talent come in to talk sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had Thunder Rosa, as a frequent guest host. I think she actually had some kind of a contract with the radio station, and now that has actually been thrown out since, it switched over. She's talked about it on, I believe, Twitter, on something. Yeah. But, it's pretty awful. And I feel like WWE can get away with these kinds of things because they are a niche thing and also not real sport. So people don't care about wrestling journalism as much when it's already all fake. But I don't like the SiriusXM thing at all. I don't either like the idea that they have enough sway to get a guy fired at ESPN for giving honest reviews. But I don't think ESPN should be making these big old deals really with the companies that are, going on their programming anyways, to where this is a thing that could really happen.
Right.
I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about it, and they're all pretty much negative. I'm frustrated that WWE can get away with these kinds of things and, nobody really cares or thinks critically about it again, because for some reason wrestling fans are just weird and different from real sports fans. I mean, they're nerdier for one, but and it's not real sports, obviously. That's a big thing, but I don't know. I feel like wrestling fans specifically, and this is going off on one little tangent before I give it back to y'all. They are, I mean, we talk about the tribalism thing. Like, it's true that a lot of WWE fans are only really focused on wanting WWE to succeed over like they want the weird monopoly thing because they hate indie wrestling or other styles of wrestling or something. I don't know. But that's not a thing that is like that happens in any other fandom. Like, I don't think that NFL fans are rooting for every shitty decision that the NFL makes, and I too, on the other side of the spectrum, don't think that MCU fans are always behind Marvel Studios when they do, objectively dumb shit. Like,
well, and when they are, there's a large enough section of those respective fandoms who will call those people fucking
pushback
dorks. Yeah. And you will be in many ways made fun of and ostracized for having those positions. Right. Whereas with wrestling, the pro WWE, pro pro wrestling monopoly that they hold is not only the mainstream position, it is in many ways the accepted position, the one that it is believed that you should have, simply, I think, in many people's minds, just because they want to be, I don't know, associated with the winners, right, of history here.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
They've done it, and it's worked, for the better part of 30, 40 years now. It seems to be, if you are a person who has grown up with that particular view of wrestling, and the propaganda worked, essentially. WWE told you for decades, in many cases, people's entire lives, that anything other than them was some bingo hall bush league shit that you shouldn't ever fucking pay attention to, and I think a lot of people just really internalize that.
I mean, that's true. I just can't quite understand. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna try to. It's just so dumb.
Some small...
And it is, I guess, appropriately, it is very, MAGA-esque. Those are the people they play to nowadays.
For sure.
Some small, quick things from me. I definitely think Andreas Hale was public enemy number one as soon as the WrestlePalooza thing came out, and obviously been taken away. I do think, though, I definitely think his firing is basically, it was next time we fire people, he's going to be on there kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But this is just a vindictive of ESPN as a whole of, it's not just wrestling journalism, journalism in general. The amount of people they fired the other day that are, aspects of TV and people who would stand out and stuff like that. It's basically, Pat McAfee, and that's it. That's what they're firing people to.
Right, man. Yeah.
It's not journalism anymore, most ESPN. There are some. And, there's some aspects that they keep. But most of it now is just, it's the parade of celebrities type thing. And it's reality TV. It's not trying to be that anymore. And that's obviously, the changing in the garden. That's part of the reason why he got fired. But I'm sure he'll land on his feet. Another point of him is he was a co-creator of Our Heroes Rock, which is a side project that Big E did about... I think Black History
I didn't know that.
A while ago. Yeah, it was him. Davenport did all the gear designs for the New Day and Big E. So he's been someone that's obviously friends with people in the company, but they can't handle real journalism. The Busted Open SiriusXM thing, it sucks. That we're losing something called Pro Wrestling Nation, just changing it to Club WWE for anybody who listens to that. There's a part of me that's happy that this will fully get in people's minds that Busted Open is not an unbiased source, that they've always been this way, and that if you have any shred of doubt, if you try to put that on my feed and get angry at it, what are we doing now? They're on Club WWE. They are a Club WWE affiliated podcast. Like, you don't need to care what they say anymore. But I am sad.
That one is just the tiger showing good stripes.
Yeah. The one time I think I've ever listened to Busted Open was when we were on Jack's. I mean, it was on for like a minute. We were on Jack's bachelor trip, and the car we had rented only had Sirius. And his brother's like, let's turn around. He's like, let's turn on Busted Open, bro. Let's turn on Pro Wrestling Nation. And I'm like, we like looked at the thing. It's all Busted Open. I don't know if they had another show on.
I don't think they do.
Pro Wrestling Nation. So again, it's like
Busted Open 24/7.
It wasn't even. That's just Busted Open, brother. It sucks for like Thunder Rosa, and it sucks for like this is a forum that AEW obviously like let their wrestlers go on there, and like even with these guys who were like Bully Ray, I don't think they got Bully Ray to do a lot of the interviews. LaGreca can be unbiased sometimes, not really, but like he's not as bad as like Bully Ray who's like a literal contracted person who like if you post his opinions to me, I'm like, what do you expect, man? But like it
LaGreca has the veneer of being just a guy.
Yeah, so, he's just a guy. Yeah. Ultimately.
He can kind of maneuver a little better.
But it does suck for Thunder Rosa. Obviously, did that for 4 years. I mean, she was a host on the show. So that's it's a position and thing taken away by bollocks. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising to me. I didn't even see that Andreas Hale got fired, and that's shocked because I pay attention to a lot of that stuff, and I follow him on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, the Federation is evil. What can we say, guys? Are we shocked? Are we shocked?
Right. Yeah.
And plus, like in this day and age, this is just like not even like a pro wrestling thing. It's very hard to find great institutions of journalism left because ultimately it's become less of. This is somebody who has a degree in journalism. It is less of trying to find the truth and more of how can we maximize our dollar. And once you get monetization in there, any shred of that doesn't matter. It matters what's getting clicks, what's moving things. And WWE's especially an example of that in many ways of how they run their company. They have no love there. There's no love for anything that they put out, in my opinion. But, Moving on from that bummer.
I know. Well, I do want to say one more thing, actually. One more thing, because what you just said reminded me of something I've been thinking about. It feels like with WWE, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity because we, hardly ever now talk about WWE. It feels like lately, since everyone has been once again kind of realizing that they're sucking, and being bad at making TV. The shows are fucking bad. It feels like Triple H, I guess, to blame as the booker, is going back to the most inexplicable thing about WWE post, Attitude Era that I just never understood when I was a kid, don't understand now. But they're the one, media conglomerate on Earth that seems to just have an undying contempt for their fans and hates them so much.
Oh, yeah.
And wants to see them suffer. And it feels like that's finally back in full force lately with the type of shit that's been on WWE TV and also behind the scenes.
Well, I love, too, they're like, we understand the fans don't want AI content. We don't care, and we're going to do more.
Do they, though? But do they not want it? Because I don't know, man. I question some of the... I feel like if you're a WWE fan in any form, in the year of our Lord 2026, I feel like you're on board for AI. Your whatever, the graphics, the storylines, I feel like you wouldn't give a shit at this point. If that's your... hey, whatever gets people out of there, cool. I'm join the club. Be liberated. Sure. I don't care.
Get on the raft, bro. You can leave.
Yes. But I feel like if the AI was the thing that got you out of there finally, it wasn't all the other shit that I come before and since that was maybe a sign that this was not good for you. But all right, yeah. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take whatever, gets people to break free of that particular mind virus. So
I just love the WWE hears the criticism, but they don't care. Like when those reports come out, it always just makes me laugh. It's like, guys.
Sigh.
Well, and they've always had this contempt for their, even during the boom period, they were fucking untouchable. They weren't ever, it was the Paul Levesque show. All right, it's not about it's not about you, the people who tune in every week, who come to the shows. They're charging up people's entire yearly incomes for nosebleed seats for these shows. That's just kind of how they are. Even when they don't have a reason to be contemptful, they will still find a way to fuck over the people who are paying their bills. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's your monthly check-in for the many evils of the World Wrestling Federation.
The great
yes. And so moving on to a slightly cheerier topic. Natsupoi is retiring from
Shingo. You fuck! No. Oh my god. No, this is awful. This is awful. I'm so sad. I fucking love Poi. She's retiring, in January. I think that show that they've started doing the night before Wrestle Kingdom. So it's not Dream Queendom, it's the January 3rd show. Fuck. It's really sad. And it's something we all could have seen coming, as soon as that news came out. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, you've got to stay wrestling for my sake, but I do think that she has a lot left to give in her career.
She is so young.
Yes, and that's the other thing I was gonna say, is that again, I don't want to say anything that's like I'm stripping these women of their choices. They obviously can choose what to do, but there is a weird and frustrating history of Joshi wrestlers retiring too young. That's what I'll say.
100%.
Yeah, and it bothers me, but if she really wants to go and start a family and be a mom and not wrestle anymore, that's cool. I just think that Poi could be a mom and keep wrestling every once in a while and have great matches a few times a year. But that's not fair.
Very, very feminist position of you to take, Jack, to demand that a
very
woman
selfish position.
Go
admittedly
submit to your whims of what her life should be. But we don't know, whatever the various discussions that she had with whoever in her life, needed to be privy to those discussions. In the conference that she gave for it seems very much, I can only take her word for it, which is that just she has decided that this is the path that she would like to take in her life now.
Yeah, sure.
That was the most dismissive sure ever.
I'm trying to sound genuine, honestly.
I'll sum it up. From a fan's perspective, and any time a wrestler retires, I'm like, no. From a human's perspective, I'm like, yeah, that's probably the right choice. There is a certain, your body gets wrecked, and at a certain point, you may want to have a different part of your life. So
let's be real. Nobody should be a professional.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
We are enablers, guys.
We are, most definitely. In some ways, I think, that it's... In some ways, I think that really they probably have the right idea of doing a quick 15-year career and then getting out in their 30s. Maybe that's actually the way that it should be for the entire world.
3 guys saying...
They could just apply that to the dudes, too.
Yeah. It's 3 guys saying don't retire who have never taken a bump in their lives, brother. This is... what you're saying. So like, take those words with a grain of salt. Like do I want to see Keith Lee back in a ring? I'm dying of thirst over here. But like, I'm never gonna like fault that man for taking care of his health and taking a step outside of the ring. I don't fault any wrestler for it. You know, the only times it sucks is if they want to, like a Danielson thing where they really want to continue wrestling but they can't. You know, then I'm like But yeah, sucks. But it's also, you know, it is funny though. Announced marriage with Shingo like 4 months later. I'm retiring, guys. It does make Shingo in the comments where Shingo's like, watched her match, is like, this is the best women's wrestling match I've ever seen. Bro has never watched any other women's wrestling matches in his life. I think he said that. Somebody said that like with the comment. It's like, because I don't think he had ever watched a Poi match before that, or something like maybe one.
Yeah, I forget exactly what he said, but that seems right that you're saying it. But yeah, they with this the image I sent to you guys after the marriage announcement of every third straight couple with her telling you about a Salon article and Shingo being the most racist man alive. It really it just comes even more into focus now.
Here's the quote. Usually, this is what Shingo said. Usually for her, she told me, I want you to watch my match. And it was the most amazing women's pro wrestling match I've ever seen. Yudo Ice, who was with me on tour, asked, you're being biased, aren't you? But I truly felt this way without any bias. When I told her again, you really are an incredible pro wrestler, aren't you? She stepped back. How on earth did you view me before this? But she's stoic and constantly thinking about pro wrestling. That's precisely why I think retiring was a decision that required immense resolve. But like,
oh my God,
married female pro wrestler and had not watched any of her work. Bro does not study the game whatsoever.
Oh my God, that's one of the funniest Shingo moments I've ever heard in my life.
And you know what,
dude?
I hate to give it to him as negative I was last week, but I come out on a positive outlook of Shingo this week, so we'll get to that in a minute. But like,
yeah, he can still run the gambit every once in a while. I can't lie. But yeah, that's fucking funny, dude.
Just the idea of Yudo Ice of all people being like, yeah, buddy, right?
Yeah. You do like, yeah, fucking sure, man.
But
oh my God,
somebody quoted it and said, "This is nice," but it also confirms that Shingo Takagi has seen exactly one women's pro wrestling match.
I was gonna say Naito hooked him up with Natsupoi years ago, and Shingo probably was like, "They let girls wrestle." What a world we live in. I've never heard of such a thing. Oh my God, dude. I wish them nothing but the best.
They would never allow such a thing in Korea.
Oh my God.
They could do some things right over there.
Oh, he's just the funniest. He's up there. You got Shingo and Jake Lee in your company, brother. I can't believe it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I think we just have the Samoa Joe of it all.
Sure.
I'll let Cooper, as this is your goat, is my go-to, but I want you to phrase what happened with Samoa Joe.
You're goddamn right, he's my goat. This is just further confirmation.
I don't think I know about this, actually.
All right, so on the last episode of Dark Side of the Ring, which I know we said we would not be talking about Dark Side of the Ring for the rest of its run this season.
Dark Side of the Ring recap show.
I did not like the Jeff Jarrett shows. But they did. The most recent episode was on Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher, or the infamous
greatest match of all time.
Mid-South match. Okay, buddy.
I'm just
yeah. Which, by the way, also, speaking of all my same criticisms that I had of the Jeff Jarrett episode apply to this one. Necro is talking some bullshit out of his asshole, and nobody is there to check him on it. They're just taking it totally straight.
Why the fuck? I have a question. Just because this match is like a little violent, it's the Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah,
they
pretty
don't
much.
care.
They've
ran out of options, brother. They're
This
just
is a fucking amazing match.
I told you, dude.
Why can't they have this on like greatest wrestling match of all time on fucking Vice? What's
Right,
dark about? I mean, I guess I know, but like,
No, you don't, because it's
they're
just a good
scraping
match.
the bottom of the barrel.
It's
Yeah,
just really
a great legendary match that has like some.
They just-
like,
they get
I
dropped
guess,
on their
vaguely
heads.
shoot
Yeah.
stuff in it.
What's crazy
yeah.
is they were so hyped for this episode that they released like 300 VHSs of this episode with the match or something like that.
I thought that was
online.
nuts. Yeah, I was like, what
crazy.
the fuck is happening? But this was a worked match. This is so, I don't understand.
More proof that
You can
wrestling
do a
fans
whole-
are nerds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
But anyways, so obviously they interviewed Necro and they interviewed Joe. And Joe, to be expected, is just the coolest fucker to have ever existed. And comes across like an absolute fucking just a killer. Just a great dude, just a fun dude to be around. And so he is asked about when he was first asked to take the booking and to wrestle the match, because ROH and CZW had this ongoing rivalry, and it's like real wrestling versus garbage deathmatch wrestling, and it was really hyped up for Joe versus Necro at the time. And Joe said that the main reason why he took the booking was because the show was going to be in Philadelphia. It was at the ECW arena, and he
wanted to go see LeBron.
A little too early for that. A little too early.
But his girlfriend at the time, who is now his wife, he clarifies, lived in Philadelphia or near Philadelphia. And so he took the booking, in his words, to get some ass. So, whomst amongst us, that's all. But yeah, and Necro just is a fucking, I don't know, sewer rat incarnate. It was still to this day,
I don't like Metro Butcher.
Yeah,
I will say,
great wrestler.
Yeah, great wrestler, but everything outside of the match is like, come on, brother. But last thing, I don't even know if it's news. I count it as news. Sometimes you forget you follow wrestlers on Instagram, right? Or like on social media or stuff. And one wrestler I forgot I followed because he's been under a mask for this past year is Tyler Bate. You know what Tyler Bate's doing in Big 2026? That brother's fully in a midlife crisis mode. He is posting piano covers of the Beatles on Instagram, brother. That is his gimmick now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been like, I just like look back and it's like him doing Beatles covers on ukulele or piano and or like other covers. And apparently he's in a band, a jazz band, I would only assume. And
he's into jazz now.
Yeah, he's into jazz too, playing the piano. I hope it's
nice.
jazz. There's many horns, so I would only assume if they're singing with those horns. Come on, guys, we got to do something different. But when I saw that, it kind of genuinely like brightened my day because he's maybe 30, right? Because he started young.
I don't know, man.
He started at he was 19 when the
Tyler Bate is probably around 30 right now. He is 20. He's not even quite. He's 29.
which is a young man in professional wrestling.
Extremely, yeah.
But it is funny that man has lived so many lives and he has not turned 30. That brother is a...
That's what...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's what, fucking 10 years in NXT does to him. So you just have to play piano Beatles covers.
10 years in that warehouse, finally got on the main roster, got to do his normal shit for a cup of coffee, and they said, we're putting you in a luchador mask, brother, and that is your gimmick. Yeah. You are El Grande Americano 2's little side buddy, Yeah, that is... I was just like, I can't believe he's still posting. I was like, and he's just posting Beatles covers. It's kind of charming, I'm not going to lie, but,
I do like when wrestlers post their little hobbies outside of wrestling. That is good and fun, I think. I know that Shelton Benjamin is actually a really pretty good bass player. because
he
used to post his base covers.
So is Woods. Woods also plays bass.
Oh yeah.
Too. But yeah, my favorite is Jack Perry smelting all the stuff, making the knives. I think is funny.
Jack Perry smelting, yes. Beast Mortos, finally achieving his law school dreams. It's interesting these people who get into this bullshit. So.
But yeah, all right. Moving on to actual wrestling. Where are we starting? Good old jolly North America. North America and Canada.
It is North America.
And Montreal, the city where everything in wrestling happens. For AEW Redemption, the first of its kind, 2026. The roadblock of AEW All In 2026.
Roadblock?
That is what this pay-per-view was, brother. It's like, we need one more pay-per-view. It's like... I
think it's at least Fastlane.
Okay, Fastlane's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one good roadblock. The one where Dean wrestled Triple H, and then how many good Fastlanes were there?
Dean. I don't think I could name any match that happened on Fastlane ever.
I also don't think I could safely say that Dean roadblock was good.
Well, Mox talked about it fondly in his book, and I went back and watched the match, so I enjoyed it. Well, didn't they have Brock versus Dean versus Roman at one?
Brother, we're not going to be talking about the WWE.
Yes, I've got it pulled up.
Oh my God!
No, we're not. Okay, moving on. I was just like, that's the only thing I could think of, all right, but AEW Redemption. Cooper, do you have the card pulled up for me? You watched all of this show.
I do. I did watch all this show. I watched, as I previously mentioned, the longest collision that AEW has ever produced, which is exactly what this was. Yes, coming to you from the Centre Bell from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I hate the Quebecois, in case you couldn't tell. But so I am so much of a sicko. I watched the buy-in for this particular show.
Nice.
Not for any of the wrestling, specifically for the Rougeau family celebration.
Oh my God! Yes,
I fucking
from Montreal to Memphis. Parlez-vous français?
I adore the fabulous Rougeaus.
The All-American boys, right?
They are All-American boys with their little tiny flags.
Yeah, that's a good gimmick, man. That was a good gimmick.
But they brought out Jacques and Raymond. Raymond, who I did not know, is apparently a mayor in Quebec now. So yeah, they look great. Raymond looked great. Jacques looked.
I can't believe they're
like
both still alive.
They are, yeah. It's particularly funny. So my dad.
Very few '80s WWF stars who are still alive.
Yeah, definitely. So my dad, used to watch wrestling back in the territory days over in Heflin, Alabama. And the Rougeaus actually came down to Alabama quite a bit, apparently, according to him,
weird.
back in the day. So he knows who Jacques Rougeau is, because he would go and see him down at whatever, the armory.
That's so funny.
Or whatever. Yeah. So, but I wish he could have seen him now. I think they got to be about the same age, probably. But yeah, so. They come out and accompanied also by Daddy Magic. Matt Menard was sort of the master of ceremonies for this. And it was just a nice little kind of thing to recognize, what the Rougeau family has done for Quebec wrestling, for decades and decades. They're the fabulous Rougeaus are second generation, at least, with, their dad, Jacques Sr. was a wrestler. And they show pictures of him and their other brothers too, up on the Titantron. Raymond was quite, cordial and political because he is currently a sitting mayor, I think. But Jacques was substantially less cordial. He gave the fantastic "Bonswa le Haters" line that I quoted at the beginning of the show, and but he did ask for the arena to get their little phone flashlights out for I think for all the Rougeau family that was not there to celebrate with them. And then Rocky Romero came out and he said that he was sick of hearing about the Rougeaus and that the only Canadian wrestling family that matters is the Don Callis family. And old man Jacques had to get in on it. He bowed up to him. He held him back for Raymond to hit a karate kick on Rocky's stomach, and then I think Jacques and Daddy Magic clotheslined him out of the ring. And it was really good. Nigel said that Jacques Rougeau always gets his man, which I quite liked.
True.
You know that Jacques Rougeau trained Kevin Steen?
Why? Yes, of course I know.
Okay, I was making sure.
I don't know.
Somebody said them getting celebrated was the nail in the coffin that Steen will never show up in AEW because he hates Rougeau.
That's not true at all. He's not going to show up in AEW anyways, but that's because he's a pervert, not because he doesn't like Jacques Rougeau.
No, that's a different Steen.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had the wrong guy.
Anyways,
Logan, I thought you were going to pop you.
I thought so too.
I don't know if I know what you're insinuating there, if that's just a joke. But
no,
he said he's a pervert. I said wrong Steen.
Oh, I thought you said that was
I was calling him a
scene.
No.
I was calling him a pervert because he's got brainworms. He's got the Federation brainworms.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. Same with old Ramy over there too. But yeah. Anyways, moving on. Then the only match on the buy-in. Did you guys remember that AEW has Trios Championships? And did you also know that the Conglomeration are currently the Trios Champions?
I genuinely didn't, but I don't watch, but I normally do keep up with those things.
That's the big glom right there, brother.
You gotta shut the fuck up.
You know who they beat for those trio titles, Jack? Jack, guess who they beat for those trios titles?
The Dogs, right?
Dargs.
The Dargs.
Yeah,
for their one-day title reign.
Yep.
Yeah, that's shit. Real shit.
But they
heard that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. We're gonna get there soon, but I heard that people are finally realizing how cooked Jay White has been forever.
Oh, we will get to it.
We'll get there.
But yeah, so they defended their trios belts here, the big glom, as Logan called them, against the Lethal Twist, the team of Jay Lethal and the Swirl, Blake Christian, and Big Shotty Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 100% real with you guys here. Blake Christian and Lee Johnson are a pretty good tag team. They probably should have won these belts, actually, I think. But, whatever. Orange Cassidy has, incriminating photos of Tony Khan, so they need to keep letting him win these
As he should! As he should!
He's got to do something.
Look, everybody's coming for Orange Cassidy. I don't care. Keep coming.
I know you don't, because you are the master of agendas, and nothing can sway you.
The master of agendas.
Unless
brother, I'm telling you, he's got to do something.
Unless Orange does something cancelable, him being a boring wrestler is fine with me. My agenda will stay.
He was in Chikara. That's cancelable enough.
That might be true. He hung out with Quack for a long time, brother.
What did he know? But yeah, I'm just upset that this Glom business has limited my demon Roddy Strong in such a drastic way recently. I don't even see people coming up with those end of Heartache edits anymore, which is really just a damn shame.
Not only Roddy but Kyle too.
That's fine. But then we had on the buy-in the entrances for the 6-way ladder match that was announced, I think literally the day before the show, for a shot at the international title. If you are asking yourself, did this need to be on what would end up being a 6-hour pay-per-view, the answer is no. But it was it was okay. It was dumb. It was pretty fun, I guess. It had a pretty great lineup with one exception really, but El Clone, the Prodigy, Nick Wayne, the Beast Mortos, Commander, Jungle Jack Perry, and Speedball. We're all in this match. But brother, that man is as far away from my scapegoat as he could possibly be. That is Jungle Jack Perry. But yeah, and of course Speedball, is from Montreal, so he got the big hometown pop. The match was messy, which I expected it to be, but it was messy in a boring way, I thought. I did not really ever get a sense. I like AEW's kind of big, stupid ladder matches that they put on every once in a while.
I do too.
And that's usually because the people involved, I think, have a interesting kind of layout where they incorporate the ladders in cool and new ways that I haven't really seen before. But this one, they did not really do that. They kind of just did all of the same ladder spots that you would think. And I thought even the non-ladder based stuff was it was not bad, but it was not so spectacular that I was super locked in for it. And also, this is a bigger problem that will be recurring throughout the show. The crowd sucks. This Montreal crowd was not giving them much of anything to work with. And that is, partially the fault of the card, yes. Because people are not going to react to something if you don't give them something to react to. But it is kind of a two-way street, I think, where if you are not invested in the match, then the wrestlers in the match can sometimes not know how to pivot, and they won't adjust to your reaction. They should, and more wrestlers should have that skill, I think. But a lot of them, especially these newer guys, just don't. Yeah. And so, they have a match layout set. They think this is going to get really over with the crowd. And I can see why these particular guys all thought that this was going to get really over with the crowd, because they're all the kind of wrestlers that, crowds get behind very easily. Big flippy stuff, and plus you have ladders, so of course they're going to go for that. But what ended up happening instead was just the crowd popped for all the big ladder spots, and then went dead quiet after they stopped. So it was really uncanny. They did get loud again for Speedball, going up and finally getting it. they got pretty big for all the Speedballs. But that's a cheat because Speedball's from there. So, of course, he's going to be, the one that they get the most behind. But it was just weird, and like, I'm glad that Speedball got it. I'm glad that we're getting that international title shot in 2 weeks at Grand Slam Mexico, in Arena Mexico. And I think that match is going to be fantastic. I'm really glad that Speedball is getting a bigger kind of singles role going, since post the Jet Speed breakup, Kevin has, largely kind of eclipsed him. But I think that they needed to be more intentional about this, is my thing. And maybe that means giving it more than a day's worth of build. Or maybe it just means not having it on the card at all and saving this for Dynamite or Collision or whatever.
It just felt like a thing of, we want to get Speedball on the card because it's in Montreal, and we need an excuse to, and we don't want to have him lose. So, again, and like, you could have like planned this out for a week. It's one of those things where, like, I feel like there was a couple things that, like, even though they've been slowly starting to build, since the last pay-per-view, this Dogs Jay White thing, like, just throwing it on last minute also is weird. I think you should have all your pay-per-view matches locked in the week before the final show, like the final 2 shows. Like, 2 weeks in advance of Dynamite, we should know the card, and then the week, something like that. But, like, when you're throwing matches on, like, willy-nilly, I mean, it was already, like, a 7-match card when we did predictions last week. So...
right, and I knew that he was going to add more stuff to it, because he always does. Yeah. But, usually that stuff that he adds in also had a bit of, TV build beforehand. Yeah. And these ones didn't at all. This was just literally just thrown together on Twitter. So.
I mean, I'm happy for Speedball, I think the match was... It wasn't fun. It was fine. It was whatever. It was an indie match. It's something too of modern wrestling fans where I think there's certain times where, like, the really good wrestlers can get people into, like, all of the match, but a lot of wrestlers nowadays, and it is a crowd thing too, of, like, a lot of these crowds just pop for spots. They pop for entrances and stuff like that. And, like, AEW fans,
like I said, it's a vicious cycle.
Yes, they don't know, like, the bit. They can't, like. It's hard for them to build the story and build the momentum and stuff like that, and the heat spots and stuff. It's like, obviously you're fewer and farther between, but, like, at a certain point, if you're only popping for the big moves, it's like, and it's dead for the rest of the thing, it's like, come on, guys. Me and you watch wrestling matches, we're always like, I mean, like, you hit a good punch, and I'm like, oh, brother, right. I'm hopping back. I get heat spots, I'm getting in it. But I feel like you still see that in, like, certain, like a DPW, obviously, but, like, when they had that, but, it's an interesting thing to see. I don't know if much will change, but
I am more willing to call this a crowd problem in this case rather than a worker problem.
Yeah.
Because there is a match coming up that they really had no excuse to be so quiet for, that they were, until the workers forced them to stop being quiet through basically sheer will. But yeah, it is a strange position that I think some fan bases in certain areas, just are more about that immediate kind of instant gratification of a big pop or a big spot, rather, and the rest of the match is essentially just, in their mind, a means to get to the spot, which I think has in many ways unfortunately rubbed off on how a lot of modern wrestlers tend to work. So but yeah, so moving on, happy for Speedball. That match at Arena Mexico is probably going to be fucking great. Then moving on, we had the first of a couple tag matches on this show. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, going up against the Death Riders team of Jonathan Moxington and William Ospreay. Will came out to the Death Riders entrance this time in the little spooky red room, and he was looking at himself in the mirror, and he was kind of glaring at it, and he's going to this dark place in his mind. Oh
God, I don't want to see. I don't want to see that dark place in Ospreay's mind.
And then, well, don't worry, because then he flipped up his little Assassin's Creed hood, so you couldn't see his face anymore. So there you go.
Oh God.
Yeah.
The bruv line strikes again.
I liked this match. I thought it was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. In particular, man, Nicholas Jackson, bravo. Just a true worker's worker is that Nick Jackson, and it's a shame that he's forever tied down to his cringe older brother. But I did like how the Bucks work this generally. But this match is always, of course, going to be a means to an end for the Ospreay Death Rider stuff, and that is the portion of it that I kind of, I don't want to say I cared the least about, because I mean it's very central to the stuff that I like too, but when it became, I think, more absorbed on the Ospreay like back and forth sort of like acting stuff like that, I don't care about. I think Ospreay should ideally, in a perfect world, in my world, I would never have Will Ospreay make any more than 2 faces in his entire in-ring wrestling life. But instead, he decides that he's going to make at least like 10. And I just don't think that works out for him.
Oh my God. We gotta stop telling these fucking wrestlers that they're actors. They're not. They need to stop. It's the worst thing yet. What?
What's really fucked up is I think he's getting that impression because he's working with Mox, who in the grand scheme of wrestling actors is actually really fucking good at it.
One of the best, yeah.
and so I think Ospreay is trying to do what Mox is doing, but he's 12. So he can't really.
Yeah, that's true. Mox is a grown ass man, and Ospreay is Ospreay. It's the worst fucking thing plaguing this fucking sport, this art form that we all love. It's even begun to seep into goddamn Japan and everywhere, and it is the worst. Just fucking hit each other.
Ospreay in particular, it boggles my mind whenever he tries to do this thing of the, can I pull the trigger? Do I have this killer instinct to unleash this fatal blow on my opponent and potentially, take a man's life into my own hands? But dude, your main finisher is the fucking hidden blade. You fucking...
I know, like an illegal,
you whack
destructive
the guy
elbow
on
straight
the back of his head with your elbow.
They can't defend themselves at all. Yeah. Oh my God.
But,
so dumb. It's so unbelievably dumb.
Yeah. But that being said, though, goddamn, the Young Bucks are so fucking good.
I love the Bucks, man. Every time I tune in, they just are still the standout. I think they might well be the greatest tag team that ever did it. They're so good.
So the gist of this is basically that Nick and Ospreay, start things off, and they're doing like back and forth kind of strike exchange stuff, and Ospreay like really fucking like nails Nick Jackson, and he fucking like rolls out of the ring, is like getting kind of dizzy. He's like taking a breath for himself.
Sure.
It seems like he might be kind of like legit fucked up. So Ospreay goes over and tries to like check on him on the outside. Mox comes over and is like, stop fucking helping him. You need to win the match. Fucking get in there and beat the shit out of them some more. And Ospreay kind of tries to, does follow in for a little bit, but Matt gets a lot of really good offense and very snappy, very, kind of fiery, because now he has the added motivation of, oh, you maybe just fucked up my brother. And so, yeah. But my favorite part of it is when Nick comes back in, like, finally, and it's clear, like, okay, he's cool now. He's not, he didn't have a concussion or anything. But he, did just get tagged really hard. And the fire that Nick Jackson goes after Ospreay with was so much fun to see. Like really, like, whatever. It was like murder Nick Jackson coming after Will Ospreay. But of course, Mox and Ospreay are, or Mox is trying to, get even dirtier, and Ospreay is essentially still, just doing his kind of main moveset. He's a little snappier with the strikes and stuff. They get hit with like 2 paradigm shifts. There's a spot where Ospreay and Mox hit the like Gotch style pile driver and the Styles Clash on each of the Bucks. So like they're working well as a tag team, but of course, the Bucks are like, the goats in this division, and they have Moxley in by himself because Ospreay had God, I'm getting this shit all mixed up. But Mox had tried to bring in a chair. Ospreay takes the chair away from him, and then it's Matt and Moxley in the ring. Matt super kicks the chair into Ospreay's face, and then they super kick Mox like back and forth, and then hit the BTE trigger. That's when also then Mox like rises up and hits that kind of double flipping off pose that you might have seen on Twitter. And then Nick, after another big like super kick barrage on him while he's downed, Nick Jackson then gets the pin for it. So I liked that the Bucks came out on top here. It was, I think this one was, I think, more of a toss-up than a lot of the matches on the card because, the Death Riders team has 2 of the biggest stars in the company in it. But I do like the consistency that, a well-oiled, tenured tag team can and probably should be beating a relatively quickly paired tag team, despite how accomplished those other guys might be as singles wrestlers. And I thought also it worked in furthering that Ospreay stuff. I am glad that they are seemingly cutting to the chase with the turn from away from the Death Riders, rather, from Will, and not dragging that out to Wembley, because I would not really have liked to have seen that. I don't know. I might still see it, but
I'm about to say, I don't know. May not be over yet.
I probably will. Well, I think he's not in the Death Riders anymore. I think that's probably true, even after, the stuff. But, I mean, the Death Riders are going to be playing a part in that Wembley match still, for sure. But, I don't think that he's going to necessarily, have that same kind of connection to them. But, anyways, I've talked about this for way too fucking long. Getting on to I think a really good match. And this is the one where the crowd stuff really started to like sink in for me. It's like, oh, okay, maybe this is just a particularly weird crowd, Montreal crowd. So the international title match with Kyle Fletcher defending against Bandito. This was like really, really snappy, like right off the bat. And they're hitting big shit, like big spot shit, like pretty quick. Mm-hmm. And the crowd is just not giving them anything really. Fletcher plays into this, and starts doing his kind of shitty heel stoogey stuff. I like how he just fucking lays out Bandito with these strike exchanges, and then just takes a second to kind of gloat over it. But the difference here between this and the opening ladder match is that I think Bandito and Fletcher are both smart enough to hear the quietness of the crowd, and then essentially say to each other, okay, so we have to like just go into hyperdrive now. And the last half of this match, they were pulling out some of the most insane bullshit that I have ever seen. They had no reason whatsoever to do a fucking dragon suplex 21-plex, but they did.
It was beast.
It was incredible. I loved it, but that was so fucking insane.
It was the perfect. Again, this is one of the ones I watched, and I thought, like, I hate to give it to him, but I think Fletcher is like one of the few young guys on the roster who, like, heels at least, who really understand, like, who revel in being hated. And, like, finding, like, that, like, the struggle and stuff like that. Where it's like, again, he's trying to, something to overpower him, to not let him get the 21-plex and only reverse them into it. It's just something, you never seen that before. So perfect. But.
And, like, same thing, too, the sunset flip powerbomb attempt.
Yeah.
Off the apron, where, like, Bandito gets, like, kind of caught in it. And Fletcher, has this moment of thinking like, oh shit, maybe I've got him here and I can, kind of get out of this. But then he just gets fucking whoom, right back down. But then, the fucking just, God, this frog splash onto the floor.
Oh,
dude! That he doesn't even try to protect himself. He just fucking just splats straight down
directly on the chest, dude. It looked brutal.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. That's a frog splash that fucking Billy Kidman would fucking do. Just fucking throw caution to the wind. But yeah. They get back in the ring. It's these just horrific looking strikes and the X knee, and the one that really made me fucking like gasp in was actually not the frog splash, although it did look cool. The one that made me fucking really kind of like wince and upset at was the brainbuster on the apron.
Oh yeah,
that Kyle did. That it looks like it straight up looks like Bandito tucks his chin at approximately like 0.9 seconds before he hits the apron. Until then, it's like his head and his back are in a straight line, and then he suddenly realizes, oh shit, I'm gonna hit the fucking ring apron, and he decides to tuck in. But yeah, I mean, the shit is just insane. Fletcher gets this nuts looking avalanche Michinoku driver. He lawn darts Bandito into the turnbuckle. And then he brings him up for the top rope brain buster to get the win. Commentary kind of fucked it because I think Excalibur said like, oh, it looks like he hit the rope instead of the turnbuckle pad, but then he just pinned him anyways. Yeah, come on. You just gotta say that he hit the turnbuckle pad.
It looked like the thing is like even if he didn't hit the top one, it looked like he hit the second one. So
right, yeah. But they kudos to both of these guys. I mean, they were presented with a tough gig with this crowd, and they pivoted and really got them going and made something cool out of it by the end. I mean, that's kind of how you do this shit. So I hope that some of the younger guys, well, I say younger, even younger than Fletcher, were paying attention and can maybe take a few notes on how to adjust to that. But then I'm not going to spend too terribly long on this because I'm spending too long on all of these matches already. So
that one was a match of the year for me, by the way.
It was not for me, but it was probably the closest out of everything on the show.
Yeah,
I think
I will say, if we put Bandito on another singles match for a championship and he doesn't win, it's at the point where I feel like he doesn't do anything with the Ring of Honor belt. They haven't presented him as like a champion in months, really. Yeah. With anything.
That is a problem.
And it's like he is so good and the crowd is so behind him. He's one of like the rare people in AEW that feels so like different than everybody else right now. He feels like a legit superhero. Like 5 pay-per-view losses in a row for singles matches. If he doesn't win the next one, like there has to be a talk with Tony. Like we gotta pull him aside.
Back to the tag division with Yi. I think is probably what that's going to be. But yeah, it is really a shame because it's not necessarily that I think he's going to suffer for it with the fan base because I think people love him so much and are still going to buy into his matches because he'll make you feel that regardless. That's kind of the magic of Bandito's work is that like even if you go into it with maybe no expectation or the expectation that he will lose, he will just rally so much and get it going so hard that you can kind of suspend disbelief, but it does not look good when you have fucking tried like 5 times to get a big singles belt and you come up short of it. Like he just at a certain point he just looks like a fucking loser. Like, and that's about it. So and there's not much you can do from there. Speaking of fucking losers, so let's get into this double chain match with the Dogs, David Finlay, Clark Connors, New Japan's best, some might say.
Undeniably true.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Finlay is. Clark's pretty good.
against the Bang Bang Gang team, the classic Bang Bang Gang team of Juice Robinson and Jay White. Fellas, this ain't 2023. This ain't Collision. This ain't the Bang Bang Gang versus FTR. This is a whole different set of individuals, and they put on some bullshit.
Is this a worst match of the year candidate?
This is not good. This was fucking awful. This went on for and it's not even necessarily that the work was like, so bad, but it just had no heat, and it went on for so long. This match was felt interminably long. This match felt like a fucking it felt like the Jay White Tokyo Dome main event. It was so goddamn long. God. But it wasn't. It was like, I don't know, maybe, like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But still, like...
I mean, that's long for a non-title tag match. I mean, I know AEW runs long in general, but that is long.
My biggest gripe...
IMO.
Yeah, it is. My biggest gripe with this is, so the double chain stipulation, right? Okay, you can already kind of picture in your head how that could be kind of fun with these two teams, or with any team that has like, whatever, like a heated, kind of like blood feud. Okay, so you're attached to each other, and it's a dog collar match essentially, right? Sure. Or a strap match or whatever. But these guys don't do fucking basically anything interesting with the chains. Like, so the dogs jump the Bang Bang Gang at the start, and are taking advantage of the surprise, and they're whipping Juice and Jay, and just getting them kind of all across the outside of the ring. But like, man, once they get like back in the ring here, and like when the match properly like gets started, and the Bang Bang Gang try to get in control, it's just nothing. It's like air. It's like it's the most like empty calorie shit like I've ever seen from all these guys. And for like whatever, a match and a stipulation that's supposed to be like dangerous and feel like kind of scary. Like this is I never felt a second of danger for anybody.
Why do you think that it's turning out like this? I mean, honestly, I'm not a Jay fan, but I would think that David would be excited, and Juice and Finlay, or Juice and White, I mean, would be at least a little excited, like for them all to get to work together again. Being boys is like the foreigners in the dojo around that same time for so long, and kind of getting raised up together. I would have thought that they would try to do some interesting work, but it does feel like you said, just like it's all pretty much been derivative from the beginning to now.
I think, particularly for the dogs, that Finley and Clark, I can't necessarily say this for Gabe since he's been out for so long, but Finley and Clark, I think, are viewing their AEW run as a vacation, as an extended vacation, and are kind of taking it a little easy, kind of, just fucking around. They do not feel invested in what they're doing. And I don't know.
Makes sense.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it certainly comes across that way to me. Which is why I like, when this, even when this faction was just Clark and Gabe, it felt so much more interesting, and like they were really like dynamic, kind of off-kilter personalities. But I don't know, man. Something about adding Finlay into this, I feel like it just like they seem so bored by it. And it really seems to be. I mean, it just seems like Finlay couldn't get into WWE, is what it feels like.
No.
You know?
He's going to be the Shinsuke of AEW.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just completely coasting forever.
Yeah.
It is sad. I mean, I thought main event Finlay had some of the biggest potential of any wrestler, in the world last year. He went on a killer run. But yeah, I think you're right. I think for whatever reason he had his heart set on going to fucking NXT or staying in New Japan and didn't get either, and now he's finally just flounder in AEW. Yeah. What's funny though is that I thought at the beginning that I was like, yeah, he's right to think that there's no space for them in AEW. But now I'm seeing that they are actually kind of trying to give them a bit of a push, and I think he could probably
there's plenty of space.
Yeah, I think he could really carve out a good spot for himself alongside Gabe if he tried. But yeah, well, who knows if that'll manifest itself.
I think Finlay knew his time with New Japan was over in the sense of like, I think at a certain point he wants to go back and live in America. I'm sure isn't he married? I'm sure it's his wife.
Yeah, he's got kids.
He's got kids. There's a certain point where it's like you want to be closer to them. I think that was the ultimate thing with New Japan. It was not like, I don't like working for New Japan, but it's like, I don't like traveling for half the year and doing all these tours.
And also, you guys are not going to pay me.
Yeah, and it's the money.
Nearly enough,
so I think, too, he's like, well, if I can get better money and go work with my dad and my brother, even if I'm not a big deal, which he probably would be in NXT. I mean, God, what do they even got on? I mean, I still pay attention to NXT, and they got nothing. They have literally
Brother, you think
nothing.
He's going to... You think he's
going to go?
Waller
now.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
You think David Finlay's going to go over Cruz Montana?
Now they have Cruz Montana, but they didn't have Cruz Montana until now. Finlay's been on the AEW roster for how long now? 6 months,
a couple months, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just like he could take the AEW money, he'd probably get paid as much or more than New Japan, and he doesn't have to fly to Japan. And so it's like, I don't really care at this point. It's less of he realizes probably went there. He's like, I'm never going to be world champion. He's like, brother, I'm taking that paycheck. I'm coasting. I'm hanging out with my kids, my wife, being a good father. Maybe one day I'll go back to New Japan or he'll go back. He'll get into WWE or whatever. But,
Right. For Juice and Jay, though, man, I'm going to be real with you. I think the injuries scare them, and that's totally fair. Like I don't blame that at all. But like those two have had like the worst run of luck, and I would not be surprised if like they are at the point now where they're just like, hey man, like we're just gonna take it a little easy on ourselves and just to minimize the chance of another fucking 6 month to a year absence, right? Because just when you're not around, and it doesn't matter how many good performances you put on 2-3 years ago, but people are gonna forget about you, and you gotta reintroduce yourself to folks. There are AEW fans now who have never seen a single Jay White match because they weren't watching in 2023. They don't know who the fuck this guy is, and so they just gotta reintroduce himself all over again. I just don't think that anybody involved in this particular spot was like in a place to put on anything other than a pretty decent Collision main event.
Yeah.
It's
rough too for both of them. I mean, again, like I just feel like because of injuries and booking and stuff, we're just at the point with the Big Bang Gang where time is, they need a hard reset. a hard. Like,
Yeah,
time
I mean,
just
the Bang Bang
passed them by.
Like the whole faction and the whole kind of idea behind it feels so played out now. It feels so 2023 is the best way that I can put it. Like,
It's true.
Yeah. There's no Bullet Club anymore. These guys have been away from New Japan so long that any semblance of that fan base has dissipated off. The Guns are never going to be anything other than what they have been for their entire AEW run. Ace Austin is probably not going to be anything other than what he's been for his entire
just there.
AEW
He
run.
wasn't even Jay White. Don't even know this guy.
Right? Yeah, they've never met in
AEW more at least. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
That's the thing about modern wrestling that I think is weird, is how I don't know, I guess in some ways it's good. Well, I don't know. I just think it's weird that we are pausing time, and then coming back to the same angles when people are out for so long nowadays. But I don't think it used to happen so much back then. But like you said, Jay was out for what, like a year and a half? Mm-hmm. And then just comes back to his same spot. And I thought the same thing is weird. Like, I was thinking about it when watching the G1. I was like, it's crazy that Hanare was out for a year and a half and then just comes back and is just himself again. I don't know. I just feel like there should be more change happening than there is when it comes to that kind of things. But it feels like when a bunch of people get injured, wrestling promotions are just willing to, like, put a whole, faction or a whole storyline on pause for a long-ass time and then expect people to still care the exact same way when they bring it back. And I don't know if they ever do. You know what I mean? Like, you can't regain that heat, really. I mean, applaud, my man Jake. He came back and did something entirely different after his long-ass injury. He's like a different guy.
I wonder what he did.
And it's true for anyone.
Boy, is he. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's something to give him. I don't like that people can get put on holding patterns forever, because wrestling, it's just everything around them changes, and they are sort of forced to stay the same. Like you said, the Bang Bang Gang still feels stuck in 2023. I just don't like it. That's all I can say. I don't like it very much. Wish it was different.
Fair enough. Fair
We might be looking back at that MJF Jay White match as the most, like, catastrophic booking match for a wrestler in AEW. I mean, that guy was main eventing. I feel like his stock has only continued to go down and down and down since then.
Yeah, it has.
But
I feel like generally too, people like main eventers aren't as willing to switch up their game as much as they used to. Like, just in general, no one really evolves except for Marufuji, who's always evolving.
Well, I will say this. I didn't watch... Yeah, it's true. I didn't watch the Dynamite or this match. With Jay, I still feel like even though it's 3 years, he's interesting enough as a wrestler. And it's okay, for me... Shut up, Jack. I don't know. I think he's a mind games guy, and I always think he's... I mean, I thought his Hangman match, his series in 24 was excellent. And I think you agreed at the time, Cooper.
I do. I still agree. I like those matches.
Yeah. And so, like, I still think he could have been interesting. I just felt like he was ultimately shot in the foot between injuries and the MJF match of it all, and then just, like... It felt...
I don't even hate that MJF match. That's my opinion.
That's fair. That match is abhorrent, brother. I cannot stand that match. Yeah, but I mean, because I'm not the biggest Jay hater. Now, I'm not like a Jay lover either. Like, I'm not like, this is my guy. But like, right, yeah. I respect him. I can breathe in with a switchblade every once in a while, whatever. But yeah, I mean, if he's even more like, I'm not trying to get injured. Like, what are we doing? Oh.
Jay is a wrestler for whom my interest in is directly proportional to how good the vibes around him are.
Yeah.
And right now, the vibes around Jay are rancid.
Rancid, yeah, I'm going to say.
Yes. If he can increase those vibes to a level where he seems cooler, quite frankly, then I will be probably more forgiving and be more into him still. But just right now, I'm not. Just because, I don't know, he's hanging out with these dorks still.
Yeah. He is ultimately a faction guy, though. And the thing is, too, is like, he needs to change it up. Brother cannot be a babyface. And he kind of is a babyface right now, and that is the worst Jay ever. I had to deal with babyface Jay right whenever he was healthy at the end of 2024 to 2025. And brother, that was rough.
Yeah.
It's a rough time.
For sure.
But yeah, moving on.
Yes, moving on. Women! They're here. They wrestle. Yes. And I'll tell you, they wrestle good. I like this TBS title match a lot. Actually, not a match of the year, but a very, very good match, I think, between the defending TBS champion Hikaru Shida, who once again has kind of been, trying to get me to come back around on her. I've really enjoyed the last couple of Shida performances I've seen. After not being into the bullshit that she was doing with Statlander, earlier this year, and My World, and buddies, let me tell you, they just fucking did it. they put the belt on her, which cool, man. We had all predicted Maya to win, and I think that it's just because like we were all not as big on Shida, but it did feel a little bit like a toss-up still, because they just put the belt on Shida.
Oh,
so.
Sure.
And Maya, for as kind of on fire as she's been lately with the Owen stuff, a lot of promotions would still be hesitant to put her in as big a spot as even secondary champion, and it's just refreshing to me to see them roll with this momentum for her, and so clearly signal that they, at least for the time being, they want to still see her in the upper portion of the women's division. So now whether or not she stays there after this title run is, I think, dependent on not just her performances in whatever matches she ends up having with it, but also on the quality of stories that they give her, and that is less certain. I would like for, at a certain point, us to break free of the doing it for her brother angle, which is maybe cynical, and maybe whatever they don't think that having that on is necessarily going to hold her back at all. And I don't necessarily think that either, but like I think that Maya is too good to not be seen as her own kind of person for this big run. When they were signaling, okay, we want big things for Kevin Knight, what's the first thing they do? Okay, they break up Jet Speed, because you need to have Kevin make a stand that he doesn't want to be tied down to Speedball as this other half of him. So and I'm not suggesting have Maya whatever turn heel on her dead brother or anything, but like I would like maybe the commentary team to start upping her performances, her work ethic, her just treating her like kind of every other babyface in a way, but that's maybe a me thing. I'm sure other people don't care about that as much, but the match here with Shida, the match itself, I really liked, and I particularly do want to I want to shout out Shida, because I think what has made it click for me now is I think Shida in 2026 works best as essentially AEW's female Jumbo Saruta. And if you know what I mean by that, yeah. I mean the grizzled, former champion who has been there from the start, has held it down, and now these youngins are coming up and think that they can fucking get one over on her, and she responds to that by just fucking knocking the shit out of them, and being fucking just mean as hell. And I think that is what she needs to focus on, rather than necessarily, any kind of like bigger sort of, new character, new gimmick stuff. I would even get rid of whatever this stupid the best is Shida stuff. Just have her fucking run this shit and throw people around for a little bit. I think that's really good, and she has the force behind her stuff now to make it hit and to make it seem believable, I think, which I don't think she really had during her like big babyface runs. But like having her be kind of like whatever the mountain to climb, I think worked tremendously in this match's favor, and it made Maya's overcoming of it seem that much more miraculous. I think it very much was kind of both women in this for me. And but yeah, holy shit, I'm so excited for Maya World. I think that this push for her is going to be really, really interesting to see where she lands at the end of it. But yeah, so that's kind of my long and short thoughts on it.
Yeah, my thoughts are similar to what we'll talk about in the main event, but I'll save that. But my main thing is, like, sometimes, I mean, Tony has a tendency as a booker to, like, plan things out. Okay, this is this title reign, this is this title reign, this, like Willow beating Mercedes, and I don't think the plan was for Willow to drop the title anytime soon. So sometimes when you have injuries suck, but it adds a wrench into the booking that most of the time, like, really does a great shake-up, in the sense of, like, Shida wouldn't have got that title probably if, Willow doesn't get injured, which means Maya doesn't get that title. Same thing with Fletcher, getting injured, and then Kevin getting this TNT title run, where it's like, I don't know if he would have got that as soon as he did, and we would have got to strike when the iron was hot if we don't have injuries, which sucks. We shouldn't have injuries, but still, like, I am so excited that we are really striking when the iron's hot here with Maya World, and building her as this new star, and, like, letting her have the ball for a little bit, even if it's only for a short while. Like, capitalize on this miracle run, So, I mean, she beat Athena, so.
Right. Yeah. That is the interesting thing too. I wonder if they'll tie Athena back in to this now that Maya has kind of, at least in AEW's hierarchy, eclipsed her.
Oh,
already,
for sure.
Yeah, I'll be interested if either, I don't know, she goes back down to ROH to challenge for that women's belt, or if Athena, challenges for the TBS or something like that. But
it'd be an interesting all-in match if they did, like, title for title. I beat you. You want a title shot?
It would be an interesting all-in match.
You're like, they should do that. Please do that, Tony.
They should. Yes. I would quite like.
I mean, Athena has. We never mentioned it, but she is. I mean, she passed the longest reigning, I think, like modern wrestling world title reign history. Like, she passed Roman's number recently, so it's like, what more is there for her? She already is the longest reigning like Ring of Honor champion ever. Like, what more is there for her?
There wasn't any more for her to do 2 years into it.
Yeah.
Right. But anyways, moving on to the World Tag Team Championship match. Cage and Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, they defended their belts against the Death Riders team again, but this time it's Pac and Big Claude Castagnoli. And fellas, I maybe have a slightly controversial take on this, which is that of the tag matches on this show, this one was far and away the best out of the entire
Nice.
one. This I liked that Bucks Ospreay Mox one fine enough, but this one I really dug. And it's a shame because Montreal does not fucking recognize greatness when it's in front of them, and they were not fucking on fire for this Claudio Castagnoli heat segment, and it pisses me off because it was so fucking good, and it should have. But him and Pac were just putting Old Man Edge through hell for this match. They would not let him get shit in for like a good big chunk of it. They attacked him before because Cage and Cope make separate entrances, and they attacked Cope before Cage could come out, and so they kind of have the numbers advantage for a little bit. Then when Christian does come out finally, they dogpile on him, and they just hold Adam on the outside for like so long. Every time it seems like he's about to kind of get up and get some more momentum going, Claudio's over there with a European uppercut to put him back down in his place, or Pac goes over with a lariat to put him back down. Just constantly like taking away that comeback and that hope from him, until eventually they slip their attention for just a little bit too long, and the comeback that Cage does is so perfect. Like I wouldn't change a single thing about Adam Copeland's performance in this whole entire show. I think that he really showed out for Canada, and Canada showed out for him. They were the hottest this crowd ever was for Adam Copeland's big comeback segment in this match. So, but yeah, they got the win because of course they were. It was never ever going to result in a Death Riders victory here, or not, with the B team guys. But still, I think that with what they did, it was really solid, just like meat and potatoes kind of pro wrestling. So, and then I'm not going to talk about this too long because I didn't like it, but we talk a lot on this podcast about Jake Lee and about avant-garde professional wrestling, and I think that if pro wrestling is an art form, right, as so many people like to say that it is,
sometimes I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it is, then the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, versus the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa, was my third grade spaghetti noodle Eiffel Tower. That was what this was.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's funny. I wasn't sure. All I heard about this one was that some people said that it was all right, and I was so excited to get on here and hear y'all be also optimistic. I haven't seen anything from it at all, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear if it's true, if the Jericho match was okay. And now you're saying that it's the worst drivel you've ever seen. So tell me about it. Describe it in detail to me. I want to feel like I've watched it.
I can't because this is
Oh, God.
so long. But I will just say the vast majority of this match, Jack, a shockingly long majority of this match, it revolves around a stuffed mascot of a Canadian hockey team.
Okay.
That it gets at various points attacked by Tommaso Ciampa. That at one point Chris Jericho kisses on the mouth. It's a lot. It was a lot for me, and at one point also Chris Jericho, or excuse me, the Painmaker. He at one point gets a mirror out that he intends to smash over the bald head of Tommaso Ciampa, and
Okay.
he does smash it with the board side of the mirror, but he leaves the glass side up. I don't know what happens.
That's so dumb, dude.
They do some barbed wire stuff and tables and some bullshit. I like hardcore matches. I like death matches when they're done right, This I don't know what to tell you, man. It's the Painmaker. That's really it.
The Painmaker.
Yeah. They called him Jack. You'll like this.
Yeah, I will. I bet. I already know.
When the Painmaker came out, Justin Roberts, he called him by various nicknames that he's gone under over the years, and one of them was the Japanese Terrifier.
I don't think he's ever been called that.
He was tonight.
But I do understand. Yeah, I guess so. That's real. That is really funny. I wonder if he wrote that down and then asked Justin to say it.
We should ask
Probably.
Naito about the Japanese Terrifier.
It's going to be trademarked tomorrow. Who's Jericho trademarks the Japanese Terrifier?
Yeah.
Oh my god. He terrifies me.
He should.
I'm not a Japanese man, but he does terrify me.
Yeah.
The Painmaker, bro. What the hell even is a Painmaker?
When I saw the Painmaker in 2026, I knew we were in for a good one,
Oh man, when was the last
Instant classic.
Was the last Painmaker match that fucking Adam Cole shit from
Oh
whatever,
my
2023?
god, was it?
Was that the last time we saw?
Who cares about the Painmaker? Who cares?
Has there ever been a good Painmaker Jericho match? Ever?
Naito one?
I mean, bro.
Was it Kenny? Was he Kenny ever wrestled the Painmaker?
No, he only started doing the paint after that initial match.
And he called himself the Painmaker because he was fighting Okada.
And when he started being in a feud with Okada, yeah.
So,
wow.
But yeah, but really though, they did finally, I guess, pay off the drill that they had been teasing for the past couple of weeks, and they drilled a hole into Tommaso Ciampa's head. By which I mean
what?
By which I mean that Chris Jericho held a drill to Tommaso Ciampa's head, and Tommaso Ciampa put his hands over it and went and then rolled to the outside.
I love Jack believing
the knot hole that was.
I just was unsure what I was hearing.
Well, you've been watching Gabe hit the drill a hole pile driver.
It's the drill a hole pile driver. Yeah, good move. Maybe Jericho should retire.
Maybe? There ain't no maybe about it, brother.
I'm starting to think.
None of you are saying this.
Why do you think he's obsessed with his persona? I guess he thinks it's like really cool.
He's obsessed with everything about himself, Jack. Forgiven!
Yeah, but why do you keep bringing this one back? He never brought back the list. Just forgive it. Forgive him.
That's why you say that. Good luck, Jihad.
Oh my god, bro.
What a guy.
Does he still do Talk is Jericho? Did that ever end?
I think so, yeah.
I haven't heard it in forever. So
probably, yeah.
He's going to bring it
He's
back.
Not wrestling.
He's going to bring it back, and it's going to be him and his wife talking about January 6th.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yes, but he doesn't seem to have very many wrestlers on it anymore. It's kind of just him talking about whatever.
Oh, even better. That's what I want to hear.
He's got
Chris Jericho not talking
4th
about
of July special. A 4th of July special earlier this month called "The USA's Best American Songs About America."
Thank you, Chris.
With Chris Jericho.
Cool.
Proud Canadian.
And then a week ago, he did a episode with the cast of. He did like a reunion episode of the Sons of Anarchy cast.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
On Talk is Jericho. Yeah. Sounds like Jericho stuff.
Yeah.
Just do Fozzy, man. He had a good career.
No, don't do anything.
No,
I don't want to hear Fozzy.
You don't
either.
have to, Jack. If he goes
no,
off.
No, I have to. If he puts the music out, I have to.
You have to.
They make me.
They make me.
They're doing the Fozzy album listening party at 10,000 Hertz next week. I have to go.
You have to support your dear friend Cooper. You don't understand. They're gonna do Fozzy night at Boxcar, and he has to go, man. He just can't.
Fozzy night at Boxcar. I would go if they were at Boxcar. I would go see Fozzy. I can't lie.
They played Saturn.
That'd be an interesting experience. Did they actually?
Yeah, in Birmingham. Jericho posted this whole thing about the green room. He's like, "Bro, they have arcade machines in there."
I do like that. I like the Saturn. I went to see the Mountain Goats at Saturn.
Yeah, good venue.
We played Scrabble. I got my ass kicked.
With the Mountain Goats?
Yeah.
No, Sarah.
I mean, to be fair, I think James Darnell would also.
I played John Darnell.
Scrabble. John Darnell will kick my ass at Scrabble.
Yeah. But the Painmaker.
Yeah, right where we were.
Whatever. Hey, let's move on. Mick Foley barked like a dog to the Divine Dominion.
He did do that.
Yeah,
I did see that segment.
Whoa! Whoa!
Why do you think? Okay, I started watching the segment and like half tuned out. Why was he on his knees?
Because they told him to bow down.
Why did any of this happen?
The Divine Dominion told him to bow down, and he did, and he said, "Oh, like a dog," and then he started barking.
They started going,
"Whoa, whoa!"
No, he didn't. That brother said, "Bow wow."
Oh yeah, he did. He said, "Bow wow, bow down, bow wow wow, bow wow." That is, I don't know what.
Why do you think he did that?
What do you mean, brother? Why? What do you mean? Why do you think?
He's
a freak.
I'm just asking. Why do you think he did all that?
We love Mick. We love Mick here on this podcast. But like,
brother was halfway there.
But like, we're acting like this guy isn't a freak. Come on now.
Yeah, dude.
Bow wow. Bow wow wow wow.
It was.
Bow wow wow wow.
The best part about it is how he's doing it, and the two women are just sort of like looking at him with like a blank expression on their face the whole time. They're like, "This got out of hand," is what they're thinking.
The queens were not amused by the gesture.
Now,
unlike me, amused by the gesture multiple times a week.
I think
Silent.
you know, obviously, I did not like this segment, but I can't tell if this was Mick's idea or if this was Megan Bain's idea, because I can very easily see it being either.
I think it's both.
But
I think it's both.
It might have been both. It might have been both.
They were like, "Do you have the same idea that I've got?" Light bulbs above their
Yeah, I
heads
mean,
at the same time.
she's dating Joey Janela. We know she's got a
Right. I was like, yeah,
crazy brain up there.
This is not the weirdest thing that Megan has been involved with in her professional wrestling career, but yeah, still not good. Don't like it. Also, speaking of not good, don't like it. Andrade El Idolo.
Oh my gosh, dude! I was just watching this match and thinking of Cooper. Jack, let me tell you, he comes out right. He's
got new music.
New music with How You Know on the Titantron Def Rebel style at the start. The real Latino man comes out with 4 women on his side. How You Know t-shirt. Right? Yes.
How You Know t-shirt. How You Know Titantron. How You Know music.
He keeps saying it in the middle of the match. He keeps going, How You Know, and like getting the crowd to chant it. And at one point, when he does the spot, I don't know if you've seen it, where Andrade takes off his pants.
No,
you've seen
I
the spot where he takes his pants.
Oh yeah, just in general. Yeah,
his new trunks on the back say How You Know
on his ass.
On his
dude,
it says How You Know.
Dude, what the fuck are they doing? I guess, I mean, if it's over, but fuck, that's so stupid.
He's How You Knowing his way to a national title reign, brother.
Unbelievable. This is how you get over in 2026. You just say the dumbest shit in the world.
This dead ass Montreal crowd, who I've been complaining about this whole entire show, ate this shit up. They loved
They came alive for How You Know.
We're fucking ecstatic to see him beat Mark Davis in his national title.
Andrade, bro, you should have been in the G1. They would have treated you better.
He would have brought this shit to the G1, don't you?
He would have definitely brought this shit.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have caught on? Do you think the Japanese crowd would start chanting?
Probably, dude. They still are into whatever Team 2000X over there. They love this shit too.
Not true.
I guess this Canadian crowd just thought, or Montreal thought, Andrade had a certain je ne sais quoi about him, you know?
I guess. Yeah, I can't wait. Dude, I cannot wait,
dude, when he
to be in Wembley Stadium and fucking be surrounded by fucking soup-brained morons chanting How You Know.
When I started this match and I saw the Titantron at the entrance, I was like, I'm surprised Cooper hasn't left the group chat. Like, I'm just like, I couldn't believe my eye. I just like feel you on the presence watching this with me. It's so angry. It really enriched my my experience watching it.
I went through every stage of grief during his entrance except for acceptance, and I think it really is still gonna stick with me.
Here's the deal: he's gonna get to Wembley. They're gonna be chanting How You Know, and that's the moment Cooper's gonna accept it. And in the spirit of the crowd, he's gonna chant it with them. That's what's gonna happen. That's the story here.
You are going to have to drag me by my cold dead body out of that fucking stadium if you think that I'm going to be chanting How You Know.
I feel like everyone has just gone insane, like across the board in the whole world. How else could something like this catch on? I don't know. This is worse than Yeet. It's worse than Yeet. I mean, it has the potential to be worse than Yeet.
No, it is.
No.
You can say it. It's worse. Yeet was.
I think it is. I think Andrade is a much better wrestler. Yes. Yeah. Well, the Jay thing was always like maximized by how bad his matches were, but it's just a shitty over catchphrase. This is worse.
What the dog do?
It doesn't make any sense.
It is made worse, I think, by the fact that Andrade can do. You know, wrestler, I don't fucking care. He doesn't fucking care. He doesn't care. So why should I? You know.
All right.
It's a real Kafka-esque wrestler, Andrade. You know, he's just really trying to get over any way out.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. He's a very Pynchonian wrestler.
Yeah,
what are we talking about? Hey, women exist again. Women are here. Yes. Tekla defending the world title against Willow Nightingale.
I'm watching it now. Sorry, I'm watching it now. And the theme itself is also like a Del Rio theme ripoff at the same time. That's funny.
It's all bad.
The whole thing is funny. You can move on to in the Tekla match.
This is pretty good.
This is really good because you know who won this match, Cooper?
Nice.
Who's the world champion?
I fucking loved Willow goddamn Nightingale being your AEW Women's World Champion finally after fucking forever in the top spot of the division where she has always belonged. I do wish that maybe she didn't win with a backslide, but that's about all that I can really complain about.
Yeah, I think an emphatic like her winning with the Dr. Bomb would have been like really sweet, you know. But I'm fine with it because ultimately the moment is more than what matters, and we did get to see her emphatically beat Mercedes at New Year's Smash, so. You know, and I think they're trying to keep Tekla strong. I still think she should have, you know, had this moment, but whatever.
I do also worry, and I don't know if I gave my thoughts on this during predictions, but I don't like just giving her a month title reign.
Yeah.
I don't like that really at all. Which is not to say that, you know, you can't have an impactful short run. I know that you can, but I just feel like Willow has given so much of herself to bettering the women's division that to reward, because this is a reward for that good work, to have that be ultimately a not very impactful or you know a run that's too short to really get a like meaty story out of, I think is a really big disservice to her. I hope that the build to the Mercedes match is stellar though, and it does, I think, kind of have to be to justify a decision like that, because I think, or they could just have her win. They could just have her beat Mercedes, which I would also like. I think that would maybe make up for it, but I doubt that that's happening. So at the very least, they can try to, you know, get me invested in whatever story they end up telling. But Tekla's reign, I think, has been really, really great too. And I understand that, you know, you didn't want a heel versus heel matchup necessarily for the Wembley show, but I do think that maybe there was some interesting way to work around it. And I don't want Tekla to get lost either now without the belt, because I think that she has proven through this reign to be such a beneficial part of the main event scene for the women, that, you know, it would suck to just see her, I don't know, hang around with the Triangle of Madness in their own little, you know, whatever spooky undercard tag bullshit. Mm-hmm. I think she needs to be a big single star still. So, but we'll see how they play that out down the line.
Yeah, for sure. But Your favorite faction came out to celebrate with Willow, the Glom.
They did, yes.
Gave her own.
They all got the backpacks. Yes.
I am excited for the fact that Willow's the first women's Grand Slam champion, which, I mean, that's.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't realize that.
Pretty monumental. I mean, she's basically done everything you can do for the AEW Women's division at this point, which is a TBS title, a World Championship, the Tag Championships, and separately the Owen. So, I mean, that's a pretty crowning achievement right there. Even though none of her reigns, I felt like super like she is the star. You know, like even the TBS stuff like getting cut short. Like I think still a huge accomplishment, especially for like a completely, you know, straight from indies to AEW homegrown talent. Someone who started in just doing dark tapings and short, you know, unsigned talent from 2020 to 2022. And then the 4 years since she's been signed, like, literally building herself up with Ground Surge from the crowd, like, going from relatively a nobody to, like, probably the most important woman up there with the most important woman in AEW history now. That's the first Grand Slam champion, the first one to really be able to say each one of those boxes, you know? I definitely think she will, like, when it's all said and done, as time is over, she's going to be top 1, top 3 most important women in AEW history. Especially right now. You can't argue between her and Tony and Mercedes. And I would give her a little bit more lenience. But, yeah, I don't know. I was very happy about this. I did wish they would have given this more time. I wish they also would have main evented with this personally. I understand why they didn't because of, you know, it's Kenny Omega in Canada. But, you know.
Yeah, and I will say also, once again, the crowd was not, you know, giving this what they should have, which is not surprising, but unfortunate. So I think, you know, if you did put this in the main, you would have had that problem too. So.
Do we have any matches before the main? Am I tripping?
Logan, you need to wake
I'm
the
up,
fuck
brother.
up.
We got the G1.
G1 around here.
Did we have any matches for the main?
No, thank God. It went right into the main event for the AEW World Title. Kenny Omega in his first defense against the TNT champion, The Jet, Kevin Knight, with a trash new theme song. Absolutely.
I skipped past the entrance, so I didn't see this.
Some bullshit.
Everyone's getting shitty theme songs these days.
Yeah, dude. I finally listened to the new Oiwa one.
Oh,
because they
really
I guess released
bad.
it by itself.
It's rancid, yeah.
Ooh, that's not good. But,
nah.
you know,
it's bad.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm gonna break it wide open. I can't even do this.
Wildfire.
Yeah.
Wildfire by May J is getting
Y'all
better
will come
and
around to
better
Wildfire.
because of all these terrible
Y'all will
themes.
come around to
Wildfire is only
Wildfire.
going to get better because all these themes were so bad, bro.
that's right. Yeah. So he his theme is bad, but his confidence is still as electric as ever. The Jet comes out. He attacks Kenneth Omega during the introductions from Justin Roberts, and you know, quickly tries to show why he is the one you look up to, and I will say Kevin in this main event spot, I think it's a good call. I still stand by that. I think you needed to have him have this match at some point, and I would rather you have done it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
When, you know, more of his heat has died down. I think that he showed some good instincts that need to be fostered with a longer term build in a similar position. I think that if he had a meteor kind of story to play off of with Kenny, other than just like, I'm the future, you're the past, whatever, I need to, get up on you. I think that this could have been something like really special. As it was, I think that him and Kenny didn't really like have anything other than that sort of, I think pretty baseline story to tell. And in fact, I think what actually was more to the detriment of the match was Kenny essentially using this to lay groundwork for his Ospreay story more than really anything to do with Kevin. I think Kevin felt so much just like a bit player in the grander Kenny Ospreay stuff, which I think sucks. I think that that really is an undersell of the talent that he is. And I understand he's the TNT champion still, and maybe you don't necessarily want to like throw away all of your chess pieces that you've laid out for your biggest show of the year just to accommodate a big mega push for this guy. And I don't even think you necessarily have to do that to just not let him feel like a stepping stone defense. There's stuff that you could have done in this match to give me a shred of doubt that maybe, just maybe, Kevin could spoil this whole entire thing and take that Wembley match away from you. Mm-hmm. But there never was in the entire match. I liked when Kenny, turned on, the killer side of himself and fucking just started, laying that shit into Kevin. I thought that was cool. But once again, that's just more Ospreay setup, with the contrast with how tortured Ospreay was about going to that same place. Which later on we got the big angle for, but yeah, Kevin is really good, and I think that he should still be kind of a name to look out for in the very near future. I just worry that that is going to take a more, Kyle Fletcher kind of path, where, he has these big kind of main event roles with main event stars, and then he's stuck in this kind of upper mid-card void for the better part of 2 years. So.
Well, okay. I have different thoughts on this match than you a little bit. I agree with some of your points. I think it's interesting to look back on this because I think the pay-per-view as whole, and one of the problems is I felt like, other than like the willow of it all, like most of this was just like whatever. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing changes. And like, Maya, the TBS title. But again, TBS, like, yeah, we're kind of in like no man's land of like what we're going to really do with this title. Like even when Sheeta got it, I never felt like it may have been like a long reign. But two things. One, I'm so happy to see Kevin get a pay-per-view main event this early. Because, I mean, he's literally only been there for a year and 4 months. He signed in March of 2025. Like, this guy is, in a year, is main eventing a pay-per-view with literally a Mount Rushmore guy for the company. Maybe the biggest star this company will ever have, or up there with it, on like what is his final and maybe his only pay-per-view title defense, kind of like what Danielson had with Perry, but in more of like a legit like this is the next big thing, which they kind of did with Fletcher before. The difference though with this one, and why I disagree in certain points with you, where it's like it didn't feel like Kevin ever had a chance, and a lot of the stuff was just preparing for Ospreay. I do agree with that, but I think it fits in the Kevin story too. Because Kevin, as good as he is right now, isn't ready to be in that, like, he's almost there, but he's not there yet. And that's the story they're telling with the Don Callis family, with, like, how he's trying to leapfrog Fletcher and Okada and just, like, it's time for Jet 2 belts. It's time for Jet 2 belts. And, like, the way Kenny just gave him this match, you know, first you may think, oh, Kenny's just being a good guy, but, like, the more of Kenny's character work in this match and afterwards and what he's doing, I think it's just he legit doesn't see the Jet as, like, his own man. He doesn't see him as someone he's even on his level. And, like, the way he treats him in that, you know, come on, show me some fire. The way he silence him with the knees and really, I mean, a lot of the spots where he really dominates them throughout a lot of it. I mean, Jet obviously has some hope spots and there was stuff, but, like, it made him, you know, like, you aren't ready yet. And you aren't taking this from me. This is, you know, as Henny kind of leaned into more, I wouldn't say heel, but I would say, like, you know, tweener type of, like, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm not going to cheat, but I'm going to be as mean as I can to keep what is mine. And you aren't on my level kind of thing. And I think that was a good story for Jet and what they were kind of showing throughout the show with, like, Fletcher is kind of ready for that position. And I think Fletcher will be the next I think he'll take that title off of Ospreay. That's my hot take. And they're setting up that between him and Knight, I think, is very interesting. And I think, but at the same time, it's like with him and with, you know, Maya, it's like I really commend AEW for really pushing these fresh faces in their vision. I mean, if you would ask any of us when Kevin Knight signed to AEW in March of 2025, if you said in less than 2 years, in less than a year and a half, that he would main event a pay-per-view with Kenny Omega, would you believe me?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, probably not.
So, like, it does suck. And I do think them doing, ultimately, like, I think a fault to this, you know, I don't know what the decision-making was. They wanted the pop rating for the World Cup, or if MJF's too banged up. I know they decided that the redemption plan was originally, like, it was built on MJF versus Kenny, and then they just did that on TV. Like, I think this pay-per-view would have so much more intrigue if they did do that match in Montreal, where, like, you know, like, you really didn't know. Like, MJF could just win this and waltz into, you know, Wembley and face Ospreay, you know. But, you know, doing a different type of... It led to less, like, intrigue for the pay-per-view as a whole. Even though, like, I thought this was a very good match, borderline match of the year for me, because I really liked the story they told of, like, King's Road, you're not ready yet, you know? You know, most of the pay-per-views kind of fell flat for me. It wasn't bad. Like, again, the worst AEW pay-per-view is 20 leagues better than anything WWE's offering nowadays. Yeah. But it's like, compared to what a lot of the high status we've had,
right?
You know, it's kind of middle.
I didn't need Kevin to win.
Yeah.
You know, I just needed a little more doubt. In my mind, which I there was no chance that they were going to get. So.
For sure. But, hey, any final thoughts? Well, we got to get to the closing angle, I assume.
I mean, kind of.
We'll run it quick.
There's not too much to talk about, yeah. Ospreay and Mox do come out. I think it's Mox at first, who, goes and just straight up, you know, attacks Kenny as he's celebrating his big title defense victory, and then Ospreay comes down to back him off because Mox had brought a chair with him and was essentially going to do to Omega what he did to Ospreay way back and try to break his neck with the chair, but Ospreay sees what he's about to do and turns against his Death Rider master. Fucking launches that chair out of there. But the rest of the Death Riders come down. Claudio and Pac and Marina are all surrounding the ring, ready to jump Ospreay. Mox backs them off gets back in the ring there with him and is trying to reason with him, and hands him a plastic bag to presumably put over the head of Kenny Omega. And Ospreay holds this bag in his hand and fucking looks at Kenny. He looks at Mox. He looks at the bag. He looks at Kenny. He looks at the bag. He looks at Kenny. He looks at Mox. He looks at the bag. He looks at Kenny.
Puts his head in his hands.
Yeah. And eventually he rips up the plastic bag and tells Jon Moxley to fuck off, which he does. And so then Kenny comes to and sees that Ospreay has saved him from the Death Riders. Sees the shredded up halves of the plastic bag before him, and Ospreay hands Kenny the belt back, but he holds on to it for just a itty bitty fraction of a second too long, and Kenny seemingly takes this as meaning that he's about to shoot on him right then and there. So he gets him up as they're celebrating together. Ospreay goes up to the top turnbuckle, and Kenny fucking boom gets him in an electric chair, rocks him back to the middle of the ring. One winged angel. Fuck you. Don't ever step to the cleaner again.
Yeah. Keep that back door closed, kid.
Right. The Young Bucks come out and they fucking emote on top of Ospreay's dead body. So that's what they do.
Some people saw it as heel turn. I see it as like I don't think he's full heel. Also, I mean, like, brother, I told you not to.
He's not a heel, but he is going to play the heel role in Wembley.
Yeah, because it's the Ospreay homecoming type shit. It actually is a very clever way to get there.
Yeah. And Will at the end wasn't really that mad. He was like, game on, And I mean, I think it's interesting too, because like, I mean, he saw that bag. He's like, don't you even try. Don't you even think about doing that to me, boy.
Right.
But yeah. I will find it interesting. I hope this is like it for Will and the Death Riders, but I have a feeling there might be a chance that because of the One Winged Angel, maybe Will listens a little bit more to Jonathan Moxley, but we'll see.
Might.
But yeah, moving on to the land of...
Yeah, moving on. Now we're going to talk for 2 hours about the G1 Climax 36.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, we are not. We're not, but I am gonna take it seriously. We're not rushing either. Y'all are gonna sit here and listen.
Cooper has left the podcast.
No, seriously.
Cooper's gone to bed.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he's gone to bed.
Okay, I do that every time. Is he actually going to bed?
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being for real.
I think you would actually said that.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, we have had 4 lovely G1 Climax shows between last week's episode and now. I know that we'll have had more by the time this episode is airing, if we have any actual proper listeners out there. But today we're going to be covering the July 21st, night 4 through night 7. First off, this was A block action, by the way, and it was A block action in Sendai, the Sendai Sun Plaza, which is a newer venue for New Japan. I think they've only started running it the last couple of years, and they did like 1,500 or so. I don't know. I don't want to get into the attendance, actually. It's just one of the first things I think about, and every week I'm like, I don't want to get into it because it's boring, but I think about it. First match we had was one that I thought was pretty fun. It was Jake Lee versus Hiroki Goto. Now, this match was interesting because Jake Lee tore his
meniscus.
Whatever it is. Meniscus in his leg in Sendai, in the same venue during the G1 he did 2 years, during Destruction Tour, where he was fighting Bishamon. So it was Goto in a roundabout way who sort of caused it. Really, it wasn't. And Jake even joked about that in his backstage comments. He was like, he kind of started doing this gimmick like what Kenta used to do, where he's messing around and like questioning the cameraman all the time. So he was like getting into a conversation with one of the guys. He was like, I guess realistically, it doesn't make any sense for me to blame Goto, you know, for what happened. And yet, I can't help but want my revenge and all these things, messing around with them, making them laugh. But yeah, this was a fun one because of that little added storyline to it. It started off with Goto and Jake sort of brawling right on the outside immediately, going into high-risk territory. And Lee was actually being a good bit more aggressive. I actually think in general he has... I mean, you might not think he's like an amazing wrestler even with his normal shit. A lot of people do not think that he's a good wrestler. But I do think in the G1 he has toned down his gimmicks a lot more, which is a criticism people were having in New Japan Cup and during the title match that he had with Tsuji. He's at least keeping the sort of clown stuff, you know, to a minimum, and is mostly just wrestling his normal moveset like he always has. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed the same, Logan. Yeah. And so they brawl on the outside. He gets Goto, you know, dumps him on the apron at one point and the table, just sort of throwing him around the outside and dominating the match. He takes Goto back inside, and Goto quickly gets the upper hand again. Big lariat, you know. Then he starts going for the knee. Unsurprisingly, I mean, it's fair game in the G1. Everyone's got their injuries, and why not? Why not target it, even if you're the babyface? And he is able to hit a few of the mini signatures of Hiroki Goto. He gets the reverse GTR and then Ushigoroshi, and then he actually does a GTR onto the knee, like he grabs his leg and does it, and then Jake sort of tumbles out of the ring and starts grasping at it like he seriously hurt it again, you know. And then honestly, at first I was like, obviously this is him setting up for something, but it dragged on for a very long time, and they got the legitimate like medical I don't know, the trainer on staff there, and they got Zane J out there like checking on him and everything. But Jake is just, he's a trooper. He's fighting to stay in the match. He's not letting them take him to the back, and he's crawling into the ring. As soon as he gets into the ring, Goto is right back on him. You know, he's a real veteran. He's not afraid to he's trying to get the win over him still, no matter what. It's the fucking G1 after all. So Jake starts like begging the referee to get him off of him because he just needs to stand up, you know, to continue the match. He doesn't want to be hit while he's down. He wants to be given a fair chance and sort of get them back to neutral position. So the ref does, and then as soon as the ref starts taking Goto back to the opposite corner, that bastard Jake Lee jumps right up and runs towards the corner and hits him with the face break shot, laughing his ass off like the Jonkler, like only the Jonkler can, gets the 1, 2, 3, and runs out of that arena. And then runs all the way back to the entrance ramp, like immediately, because Goto only just barely stayed down. He got the kick out like right after 3, you know, like SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 style. And then, you know, Jake runs all the way back up to the ramp with the biggest fucking smile on his face. God, I love him. And the cameraman is following him the whole time, and then he has to push the cameraman away. He's like, give me some space. And the cameraman backs up, and then he does the goddamn dance. And then he does the dance. And then, yeah, Jake Lee leaves. Another 2 points for Jake Lee, which puts him at 4 points. And then up next we had Ryohei Oiwa versus the Great Okan. I thought this was one of the worst matches in the tournament so far. I really, really don't like Okan. But Oiwa headed into this match, I think, taped up on his ribs for the first time. You know, they always do this in the G1 where they have these sort of work these nagging injuries. And I think this was meant to be from the very first match, his match with Bolton, you know, getting thrown around and getting kamikaze in Chicago and everything. So now he's got tape over his ribs. And Okan is, of course, healing it up real bad, working it, but not working it in, you know, a proper way. He's like clawing at it and I think biting it and all this shit. And it's a very like hit and run, cat and mouse type of match. Oiwa just struggling to get a breath in between the onslaught, you know, and being able to fight back for just a little bit, but Okan will do something dirty, like a rake to the eyes or, again, clawing at the ribs. And he tries again. Okan does try again to get the count-out win, like he did over Sonata, takes him out to the ring, and grabs the shield chair. And and that's what Okan's been really... He's been getting the... distracting the ref, going for the chair. That's kind of been his game plan this whole tournament, and he is able to get it, but Oiwa is able to get back into the ring, and Oiwa then is able to get a little bit further back into the match. He gets a sleeper to set up the grip, but Okan pulls the referee right into Oiwa and lands an eliminator into the exposed corner, right on his ribs. Not a proper not a proper eliminator, but he, you know, drops him onto the turnbuckle. Oiwa then is able to sort of use Okan's momentum against him, though, and gets him in a tight leverage pin, serious roll up, and gets the win. Therefore, the 3 count. And then that puts Oiwa at 4 points as well. Then we had this match, long anticipated one for the tournament. It was Konosuke Takeshita versus Yuto Ice. I saw some people saying that they didn't think this one was very good, and I don't really understand where that's coming from, to be honest. I like this one.
Me too.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, did you see what I was talking about? I think it was Ibu said
I don't care.
And didn't really seem to like it for some reason. You don't care?
Ibu is not tapped in to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
No, not at all.
He watches it from time to time, but like he isn't watching the random Road 2 shows like my boy Jack Dudley is, so his opinion is invalid to me.
Yeah, bro.
And like I don't know, different stuff, different people, but I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I think it was bad.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite Takeshita match or my favorite Yuto match, but I thought, I mean, it was exactly what you would have expected. I thought they worked really well together. I was going to wait, and I guess I will wait until the Bolton match to say it more in depth, but I will say I think this is some of the best Takeshita work in New Japan we've seen in a long time. I mean, I love the Tokyo Dome main event, or the Tokyo Dome semi-main event, but besides that, I think this is the most I've really ever enjoyed Takeshita in New Japan. I think he's really liking working with some of these new gen guys.
I think that, and they finally hit like a line for his character where he's not this like super heel outsider, but he's also not like happy-go-lucky babyface like some other people, you know, are in Hontai, and he's willing to go into those deeper waters and choke him. MFR out, you know, he's willing to choke.
Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, this was kind of the classic Ice style match, you know, almost in the vein of old Ishii G1 runs. He's really just dragging him into serious chop battles and hard stiff strikes the entire time, and just high intensity never style, you know. But Takeshita is interesting because Takeshita kind of is able to get the upper hand by using his technical style, which only ever comes out every once in a while, but it is something he is still very proficient in, no doubt. And it ends with Takeshita hitting a flurry of signatures and that power drive knee, and then getting a pretty brutal, like, camel clutch style wrenching sleeper hold, you know. I don't know what else to call it. But it looked crazy. And then Oleg was just knocked the fuck out for the second match in a row.
Yeah.
He was just laying there lifeless after tapping out to the... I mean, it looked brutal. I'm sure you can remember. He was getting
he didn't
bent in
tap out.
half.
He got another referee stoppage.
Did they just call it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's second 1-4
Well,
in a
yeah,
row.
I mean, I don't
It's
think
funny.
Yuto's going to tap out, you know. I don't think there's going to be anybody... I think that's his thing. Like, I'd be very rare. I mean, yeah, maybe if you wrestle someone like a Saber. But, like, they've been putting...
But it's funny because he's the knockout brother, but he keeps on getting KO'd.
But I think that's the story, you know. It's like you know, sometimes you're knocking people out, sometimes they knock you out. You know, that's what he lives and dies by. And so he's willing to, you know, again, and it's something I did agree with you, but we'll get on later, is that, like, he's not the best wrestler, but he just pisses everybody off so much that he gets them to do things that are irregular to what their game plan should be, you know. And so he forces them to play his game, which he doesn't necessarily win every time, you know. And
no, but he definitely does.
But like you're watching a Yuto match, it's like you're seeing different things out of different, like, things you wouldn't see in every other match, because he's forcing they just see this guy and they're like, F this guy, I want to punch him in the face, dude. I hate this dude.
Yeah. He gets under their skin for whatever reason, and it's awesome every time. I want to ask you, is there a difference between the power drive and the Wagamama knee, or do they just decide to start calling it? Is that like what he called it in DDT and then change it in AEW?
They called it the power drive D in AEW. I have not heard the Wagamama. So it must be a TV.
Oh, Coop might know, but he has left us. This is what they started calling it as of this match, and I don't know why. And it says so on the website too. I don't know why. Anyways, up next we had one of my favorite matches of this tournament so far. Yota Tsuji versus Sonata, who I'm sad to say it seems not doing a full Sonata collection this year. He's going to be wearing the gold-plated gear for the duration of the tournament, but he's making up for it by being good at wrestling again, which I would not have in a million years have expected.
That's the Nada right there.
The fucking Nada is back. The power is back. I can't believe this. I guess all that he really needed all this time was a fucking break, because he got, injured and then worked through it for some reason, and then he takes just 3-4 months off to recover and get the proper surgery, and now he's moving, like he was before again. It's amazing. To
be fair, I don't think he's fully healed, and I don't think he'll ever be fully healed. But
he's at least putting in the work in a way he hasn't been in a long time. And this is probably...
keep going.
What? I was just saying this is probably his best match. So far, his best match, maybe my favorite match of his since that Naito, Wrestle Kingdom main event. And it was really good. I mean, it's actually the perfect example of what you sort of talked about last week, where Tsuji has definitely taken over that Okada kind of Tom Brady role, the guy that's on the top, so you sometimes love to hate him, even if he's good. He's often letting the other guy take the shine, and that was definitely true here. The crowd was just falling in love all over again with Sonata, and that was really fun to see.
I think...
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
No, I actually didn't have anything more to say there. I was going to ramble, so I want you to speak.
So I'll say this. This is the first time for this podcast I've ever watched a match that I just I'm like, this is my stuff right here. And I watched a bunch of matches, and I went through my day, and I was at the end of my night, and I was like, man. And I watched the backstage comments, so I was like, I just want to watch the match again. And I went and watched the match again before I went to sleep that night. I think it's something that, like, you know, I watched Redemption and I watched all these G1 matches. Like, G1 isn't perfect. It's good. There's problems, you know. There's always going to be problems. But, like, it's just something that, like, is special about the G1. It's like, never in a million years would Sonata, coming off injury, losing to Takeshita, then losing his first 2 matches to Okada and Goto, wrestle the world heavyweight champion and win. And not only that,
the G1 is just different, man. It's just different.
And, like, I think his performance in this match was so, like, it's something that, like, you just don't see in a lot of other wrestling, which is, like, you know, he goes, he has that miracle run, he wins all these matches, he goes wrestling, and he drops title to Naito, and he just, like, that when it finally seemed like it started to click for Sonata, it started to click for us, but a lot of other people didn't like that run. They didn't like Sonata and Just 5 Guys, and those people were wrong. But, like, ever since then, it's like, you know, we knew he was wrestling through, now we know he's wrestling through an injury and stuff. You know, he ends up going to the War Dogs and then going to, you know, House of Torture, and it feels like this guy who was literally a Wrestle Kingdom main eventer 2 or 3 years ago is just, he's gone, he's changed, he's never going to hit that status again. And this match was a very interesting vacuum to me, which is like, it's like kind of what they presented with Jake. It's like Jake's evil, but it's like you understand his motivations of like what he had to go through and like the muscle atrophy that Sonata has. Well, I mean, you literally like, you can tell his body shape is completely different from these 4 months because it's like he can't. Like, you look at his 2 arms and it's like a complete noticeable difference. Like, he's lost muscle in both of them, but especially that one arm, it's just like brutal. And so him finding a way to like turn the clock against Tsuji and sacrifice everything to get that win. And like, I think they said in the commentary, it's like the cleanest you've ever seen a House of Torture member wrestle. He doesn't bring House of Torture out. He only at the end, basically, Tsuji knocks over the ref and he throws him up in the air and then puts his feet out, kicks him in the balls and hits him with the skull end. It's like,
he does take advantage with the low blow, but besides that, he's just wrestling like himself, and he's bringing out, you know, stuff that he kind of dialed back. He's going for that moonsault in pretty much every match. He's hitting all his shining wizards, you know, and acting, just like himself again. It's really awesome.
Yep. And the backstage promo, did you see that afterwards?
Yeah, I did. Well, I did, but you can go and describe it if you want.
I remember, it was Tsuji, like, beaten up, and he was like, you know, whatever, what did he say? Gosh, how many days ago was that? Okay,
that was about a week ago. That was on Tuesday.
I'm trying to find it, but the problem is I keep seeing Jake Lee in blackface. Let's see. He basically was like, you know, that's Sonata right there. That's him giving it his all, even through sacrificing the one limb to get the win or something like that. And then Sonata, I don't forget what he said. He pointed at both of the arms, and he's like, you see that difference? Or something like that.
Right. Yeah. The picture, you know, is sort of gone, not viral, but is being reposted all over New Japan Twitter because he looks like a total badass, and I want to get behind him forever. Tsuji, I mean, we'll talk about it again because the Takagi match again was fucking great. But he is, I think solidly, and I know I only consistently watch New Japan, but I peek in across the globe in CMLL and AEW and the Indies and everywhere, and I think Tsuji is firmly, you know, one of the top guys in the world at this point. He has become an amazing leader, you know, of his match. I know he had that one blip against Jake people love to bring up, but besides that, he has not missed in a big singles match, I think, the entire year. And he's just taking this ball and rolling with it. You know, so many guys, and I know we talked about the presentation being a little off sometimes, but here's what I'll say, like, so many guys are saying that he's a transitional, you know, not like transitional, but he's still not that dude compared to when Uemura finally takes the throne or when Shota finally takes the throne. And I think he is hearing those, hearing that kind of thing. And he's like, man, when I've got this ball right now, I've got to take full advantage of it. And he's just wrestling with such confidence, and such, power and intensity. And he's really just ground down his moveset to just the best and most exciting moves that work for him, And he's got that hand of God, the overhand chop that always just silences the crowd. And he's got he's just got it down. That's all I'll say. I mean, he's figured it the fuck out, and he feels like a top guy. And this is the first time since Okada, I think, even though I loved in my own weird way the era that they're just getting past of like trying a bunch of different, people for heavyweight champions, seeing if it can work, like Sonata and Zack and Goto and what have you. But this feels like the first year since Okada was the ace that every match with the heavyweight champion feels like a big fucking deal, Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, every day you look at the card and you're like, I wonder who's got Tsuji this week, because they've got to really, wrestle their ass off because he's not letting anything else stand. And tomorrow, I mean, again, it'll have aired by the time this comes out, but he's got Yuto Ice tomorrow, and I can't wait to see that, because I know that Yuto will be, again, working his ass off because he's got the big match with all the eyes on it tomorrow, and that's just an exciting thing. But again, I know we're on a time crunch, so that was like probably my favorite match of this entire stretch. So that's why I spent so much time on it.
It was mine too. Sonata said, a man really finds himself when he hits rock bottom, is what he said. But I don't know. I thought it was inspirational. I thought it was like a brilliant piece of pro wrestling, like a slice of like I would explain that to people and I'd be like, this is why I love this thing so much, man. I'm gonna be thinking about that match for a while.
The crowd is hot. Yeah, they're hot for the heavyweight title,
dude.
Yeah. And Sonata's like, I mean, he needs to either they need to go all in with House of Torture being kind of like just an anti-hero faction in general, like they did with LIJ, or they need to separate Sonata from them, because this has serious potential. And I assume they know that because they did that weird super sentimental documentary for him.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably will whenever, after the G1, if I had to guess. He has Narita and him are in the same block, right? No. Okay.
No. Up next, moving on. Up next, we had the main event, which was Takagi versus Boltin Oleg. And I also really dug this one, not to the same extent, but I mean, we talked about it last week, but it continues. This evolution of Oleg is one of my favorite things to watch weekly in the G1. He's just become the monster that we always knew he could be, and is kind of, I mean, not to invoke the Fed, but he feels Obafemi-esque, to compare him to a different guy in, pro wrestling in 2026. I can't think of anyone on the AEW roster who sort of is a big bruiser, upper mid-carder, like that. I know there's guys like Davis, but they aren't made to be so dominant, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I'm looking forward to this run a lot, and he is showing off. I mean, I'm sad, or I was scared. I said the invoked the Fed, and then I was like, wait, did Cooper walk back in? Is he listening again? And then I saw, I was like, oh no.
I'm always listening.
No, you weren't listening?
I said I'm always listening.
Oh fuck. Yeah, I mean, this one was kind of standard Shingo formula, so I could go through all the signature moves and all the spots, and then it ends with Bolton, hitting that crazy powerbomb sequence that he's doing now, and then doing the verdict, and then hitting the kamikaze. So there you go. But it was very, very good, and they threw some big lariats too. It was cool. Up next, we have night 5. This one is throwing me off because I swore we talked about this one, but I guess we didn't. This night kicked off with Gabe Kidd versus
Oscar, right?
Aaron Wolf.
We talked about the
we talked about Oscar.
Prepping the match. We didn't talk about the actual match.
Oh yes, we talked about the angle before, but we didn't talk about the actual match. Well, this was my favorite Aaron Wolf match so far too. I mean, again, we're short for time, so I don't want to go into it too much, but he looked really good against a proper foil like this. Gabe came out dressed in a gi. I guess it's a gi in judo too, or is it not a gi? It's a gi. So yeah, he came out dressed in a gi and was like joking around the ring, joking, prancing around in the crowd, baiting Wolf, and he brought a gi for Wolf to change into too. So he hands it over to him, acts like he's gonna, be real tough and get into some throwing action with Wolf, and just gets immediately dropped on his ass when they actually start grappling. And then, they do a really funny reaction shot on Kidd, eyes wide, like he can't believe it. And then he rolls outside the ring, doesn't want any of that. And Wolf is like, he says something in Japanese. The commentators translate it to him saying, like, "Hey, I'm a pro wrestler now, Gabe." And the crowd goes wild. Everything he does just electrifies them. It's awesome. So, yeah, they get in there, and, I'm misremembering. I'm going through the notes. So Wolf actually follows Kidd to the outside there and gets into some brawling action for a rare thing for him. He hits that Uranage onto the floor, but then Kidd is able to sort of get back on top with his chops, his striking, and but Wolf just seems like he's kind of got it down. He's got Kidd's number, which is cool because, again, he looked really, really good in this, like really confident, and was able to reverse a lot of the moves. Kidd does eventually get back on top with a brainbuster, and tries to set him up for a sort of top rope, superplex spot. But Wolf is able to take back over from that too and hits a landslide sort of thing, which is the first time, I've seen Wolf do a big spot like that, and I felt like he pulled it off. He goes straight into the triangle submission after that, but Kidd does go for the cock while he's locked in there, and he lets go, and then Kidd is able to hit him with that drill a hole pile. Well, he hits the Oni, and then drill a hole pile driver and gets the dub there. But again, I really recommend, if you like following Wolf's progress, I think that this was one of the more complete, I think that's the way to describe it, more complete matches he's had. You couldn't really see, it wasn't like anything spectacular, but there wasn't anything where I was like, saw a flaw and wrote it off because he's still new. It felt like a very normal match. And up next, we'll talk about one more Wolf match, but up next he's got Yuya. So I'm very excited about that as well. That should be another one where he's in the ring with a more, substantial competitor.
You forgot when Gabe finished this, he gets the mic and he goes, "Ippon," which, if you don't know, is basically what a perfect score is in judo. Whenever he beat Wolf.
Yeah, he was messing with him the whole time. The crowd was not fucking having it. They hate this guy.
He did too, like hump Wolf's face again and tried to run and did a thing, and Wolf caught him. It was very fun. I thought this was awesome.
Yeah. I'll only go on this one for a little bit, but Oscar and Hanare had a match, and I really like Oscar. I really like everything Oscar's doing as a singles wrestler, but this wasn't anything special. And Hanare is one of my favorite, little mid-carders in New Japan, but for some reason they're kind of pushing him heavy at the start of this, and I don't think it's landing all that much. I don't think the crowd cares that much about him. maybe a symptom of what I was talking about before. He just kind of came back and started doing the same shit that he had been doing a year and a half ago. But things change, and maybe you should change with it, I suppose. But Nare is now finishing his matches with a Batista bomb. So there's that. I don't think that is a substantial enough change to satisfy what I'm talking about, but it is something. So he takes that to 6 points. 6 points. And then we had Yuya versus Drilla Maloney, a rematch from a semi-popular New Japan Cup match this past year. And it was kind of the same beat-for-beat thing. I don't know if that was on purpose or why. It was kind of the exact same, actually. Except that Drilla was able to win. But they did a bunch of, grappling spots, which to me were a little bit too silly. Like, they did the thing, where they... I don't know, they're locking arms, like in Romero's special, kind of. No, not the... I don't know what to say. They both end up, basically, doing a bridge, but they're not doing... They're doing, a bridge face-to-face, it's this intense, everybody clap moment. But I just don't buy it with Drilla. He's not a grappler. Why do I have to sit here and watch him try and do that shit with Yuya instead of doing an interesting Clash of Styles bit instead? They tried to make this one into a sort of more epic encounter, but it just didn't really work that much for me. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I was really looking forward to seeing the make fun of me, but I was really looking forward to seeing the Zach Callum match that was coming right after it. So I wanted to get through this one. And it does end with Drilla sort of getting the upset victory by hitting his, killer finisher, Drilla Killa, and gets a firm cover to get the 1-2-3 and move Maloney on to 6 points as well. Then we had the main event, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Callum Newman. And again, this one started with a whole bunch of grappling, but this one was more Newman sort of trying to mock the guy and play out of his element, and Zach, made him pay for it early on, so that was fun. And Zach, of course, was heavily targeting the supposedly injured shoulder of Callum Newman, all taped up. But Newman, I think, is actually a fairly good seller when he's actually, trying to sell and doesn't fall into the Ospreyisms. But he's good at, selling pain. He yells really loudly. It sounds legit. And I enjoy that in a match like this, where a lot of it is him getting worked over. Newman they go out to the outside after the initial grappling, and Sabre sort of locks his arm in the barricade and does a big drop kick on it, and that leads to it. But Newman, the whole match, is kind of working over the ribs, setting up for his whole moveset with the Excalibur and the make way and shit like that. So they do a lot of crowd brawling actually in this one. It kind of lasts for a good bit because Newman keeps wanting to set up for that big high spot that he's taking to every city where he does a drop kick, into the crowd, into the chairs. And it's cool, but I do think it wears a little thin when you're doing it on every single show. Newman and Zach do go back into the ring. Zach is pretty firmly in the driver's seat at that point. Newman is working from underneath, but does eventually find the space to land a big boot, with the Prince of Pace running gimmick, and then hits Firebolt for 2. Takes the match back over, lands Excalibur, tries for Prince's Curse, but Sabre comes down and grabs the shoulder once again. Newman gets out of that, tries to hit him with the lariat, but Zach ducks and hits Zach Driver, but he cannot make the pin there, both too exhausted. Newman does this new thing. They get back up and start, running the ropes. Newman has this other new spot he's trying out where he does a big, spinning takedown into a rear naked choke. It looks kind of impressive if you see it. I'm surprised how he's able to nail it every time. because there's a lot of momentum going into that, but it's cool. But then again, ZSJ is able to reverse that into that double arm submission that he does. I can't remember what the ridiculous name for it is. And that's right around when the match hits 20 minutes. This is a proper main event. And Newman is able to get to the ropes for that. Newman sort of fires up, removes the tape from his shoulder, acts like, big fighting spirit type shit, yelling, crowd's getting into it. They start with some kick exchanges, and then he gets Excalibur once again, but it only lands a 2. Newman hits Kiss the Crown Lariat and Princess Curse, then one more 2. Tries to go for make way. It's countered into the armbar one more time. Newman begs the referee not to stop, like he's about to call it, and then pulls the ref. Big dramatic moment, and then he is able to sort of get Sabre off of him, but then it goes into a series of roll-ups with Callum just barely getting out, and then misses make way one more time while Sabre hits the reversal dance, But then Newman, in the confusion, is able to hit a very tight schoolboy, grabbing the tights, and he gets the narrow victory. Zach is dropping a lot of matches this tour. I think he's firmly in kind of dad territory at this point, which, your mileage may vary on that. But I'm pretty happy with the new crop, so I don't mind seeing him take a step back.
I do, and I hate...
You got any thoughts on that one, Logan? Sorry, I've been talking for a long time.
I hate Newman. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I cannot stand this guy. I hate the way he won. Okay, right? I understand he's injured and you got to book him strong, but if there is a match for him,
why? Wait, what are you talking about? Why does he have to be more?
I understand he has to book strong because he's a shiny new talent and he's the big foreign heel, but he's also milking an injury. So it pissed me off when the submission guy who has him in submission death and he just wins via roll up is it just was total bollocks to me. I don't like the way, and I especially had more problems in the Newman. I just don't like him when he has these long style. I don't like the way he sets up stuff. I hate the stupid drop kick, especially the Drilla match. He is just, his psychology is so off for me. And he does do some things like that, running, or he gets him the chokehold. That does look very good. But I don't know. Half the time I see him, I'm just this guy sucks. Dude, he's
Maybe they're just working.
No, they're not. Logan. He's bottom 3 wrestler this year, man. I cannot stand.
Oh my god, that
I watch. True. Yes,
He's not a bottom 3
wrestler that I will watch probably 30 matches of this year, 100%. Of all the wrestlers on a scale of 10 matches I've watched per year, probably. I mean, I don't know, man. We'll get into it in the Drilla match. Or no, we'll get into it now. Look, we gotta start speeding through these anyway.
No, that's fine. Do you want me to run through till we just get to the... No, I guess we should. Yeah, because we do have stuff to talk about. My main thing is just
I just hate it. This is the perfect time where you have him tap out this guy because he has an injured shoulder, but no, he gets the roll up win on Zach, which I'm at a certain point I'm just tired of people beating Zach. I feel like he should have more wins. Maybe we'll get some later on in the tournament, but we lost to Callum, we lost to Yuya, and now he's lost to Gabe. So at the bottom of the block, and 2 of those are fine, but Callum should have been one that have him, beat Callum.
Yeah.
And because he's injured, that's all you have to do, and you can have him beat him next year or something like that.
Yeah, I do think he doesn't have to put everyone over all at once, unless there's something we don't know and he's leaving. But I don't think that's true. I think they just are again phasing him out. These things can be taken kind of slower, but anyways, on night 6, the 25th, it started with Goto versus Okan. This was abysmal dog shit, and Okan wins with a low blow into the eliminator and does his whole tongue out gimmick and gets the win.
Brother.
Yeah, this shit sucks. But it was all worth it because next we got Sonata versus Jake Lee, which was very funny with Lee targeting the arm and Sonata targeting the knee, both of them going after their crazy freak injuries. The match ends after just pretty standard stuff the entire time with Sonata able to get Lee trapped in a paradise lock in the barricade, so he can't escape.
For the
and
20
then
count,
Sonata gets the count out victory.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. Up next, we had another standout match of the tournament so far. It was another installment in the Oleg Takeshita rivalry. This was, just fantastic. Total bomb throwing match, and it's cool that Takeshita is one of the only guys, who can, Takeshita has serious physicality that I feel like isn't emphasized very often, if that makes sense. Like, he's 6'3", and huge, but normally he doesn't wrestle too much like just a proper powerhouse. But he did in this, because that's what Oleg's doing right now, and it was fucking fire. So, I mean, just big ol' strikes. I don't know if y'all have seen. I mean, I know Logan watched the match. I don't know if Cooper's seen the clips, but there's just great moments with, hard chops. And at one point, one spot I really loved, just a simple little bit that went kind of not viral, but, it went around, where Oleg gets him in a big old chop, and then Takeshita sells it real well. He falls like he's going to pass out, and Oleg catches him for the gut wrench reps that he does while he's falling down. It just looked really good and smooth. Something only a real professional like Takeshita can do. Match ends. Oh, there was another spot that got popular that was great too, where they were throwing the very serious stiff forearms while they had grabbed each other's trunks, pulled them in. It was just a very raw hype beast sort of match, and it ends with Takeshita hitting a big... Well, actually, Cooper, now that you're back, you can explain this to me. Why have they started calling it the Wagamama knee in New Japan?
Because...
They called it the power drive all this time.
Well, I think that's just the Japanese name for it that he used before.
Okay.
Then,
that's what I figured, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when he first got signed to AEW properly way back when, and it was the Wagamama at that point, and then they started calling it the Power Drive knee. I think just because Americans can't really say Wagamama that well. So, but
for some reason they've gone back to calling it that in New Japan when before they weren't. But anyways, yeah, he hits that real powerful one too. He took the knee pad off and everything, and Oleg acts like he's gonna fall for a second, but then gives a big old snow leopard scream and wakes the fuck back up and starts standing up. But then Takeshita goes for it a second time and drops him, picks it up, and is just barely able to get the Raging Fire on the Beast and gets the 1-2-3. Takeshita takes the undisputed lead in A block. And then we had another installment in the Ryohei Oiwa versus Yuto Ice feud. In this one, Oiwa came out to that dog shit probably AI theme song they were talking about. But after that, he starts the match on the outside, which is very unlike him. The feud is often between these two. It's all about Oiwa being a more stoic, by the books pro wrestler, and Ice thinking that it's more proper to feel the emotion, feel the pro wrestling high. But often Oiwa is able to defeat him by sticking to the books, and actually wrestling a straight match and not letting his emotion get the better of him. In this case, though, Oiwa very much did that. Ice got in his head once again, and they brawled all throughout the outside. Did I can't remember exactly what happened in this one, I'm going to be honest, and I didn't take that many notes for it. But I do know that Yuto won the match in the end. So, Logan, if you want to say anything else. I'm gonna just move on.
I mean, I feel like your thoughts have summed it up. I thought it was really good. Got the win. I was kind of hoping. I thought it'd be funny if he just goes valiantly, gets knocked out by everyone. But I mean, I understand they are rivals, and Yuto's got the upper hand on the grip right now. Though I did want my grip boy to win. It was. It was a very fun match. It was a very fun match. So.
In the main event, we had a long-awaited singles encounter between Tsuji and Takagi. This wasn't my favorite Tsuji main event, but I will say it might be the hottest any crowd has been in the G1 this entire season so far. They were on fire. I mean, I don't know if it's just... I mean, I think the crowd really likes Tsuji, and this is a big match that they've held off on for a while, and I think part of it is that LIJ lore still sells like crazy in Japan, so that aspect of it was very popular. I mean, this was a long one. Very much that New Japan sort of old school, not old school, new school, but not the current main event style like Okada, and the stuff Takagi was doing. They did a lot more of that. They did a lot of reversal dancing and fire. At one point, Tsuji does a fiery, like, get up at one type thing, which I normally don't love, but I thought it was done pretty well here. And I just like that, again, Tsuji is being cemented as this dude. At one point, I really thought it was over when Takagi hits Burning Dragon at the end. He's been finishing a lot more matches with the Burning Dragon. And they hit some sick lariats to this one. Some even Tsuji was doing, and I haven't seen him do stuff like that before, so I thought that was fun. He is able to stand up after the Burning Dragon, though, and hit that... he sort of powers up out of a final pumping bomber, lands Fire Blaster, and wins the match. This was a very important one because whoever lost was 1-3 to start the tournament, and that's a very tough position to come back from. So it looks like Takagi does not have a lot of luck getting out of the block stage at this point. Tsuji is still in okay contention, so that's cool. On the final night, it sucks to end it here because I thought this was probably the weakest night so far. There wasn't really anything spectacular about it. We actually started... Yeah, even the main event underperformed. We'll get there. But we did start with what was probably my favorite match. It was the Oscar versus Aaron Wolf match, and it was cool to see such, of a new blood first-time match. They talked about something interesting in the commentary. They said that Oscar actually, before he joined the dojo, was training to be an Olympian and wasn't able to, and that might factor into his hatred towards Aaron Wolf, which is cool. I'm tired, so I don't want to go play by play. But there was great
break down from here. What was it? It was,
All right, okay. Oscar was able to get the win here with that Nightmare Sleeper, the first time Aaron Wolf was ever tapped out in New Japan, and then seemingly challenged for the Never Openweight after. So that'll be a really cool match if they run it, but it also might lead to a tag team or something or other. I don't know, but I would love to see such a unique, pay-per-view singles match as that. Then we had Hanare versus Narita. There's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, this
and
sucked.
Then Hanare gets the win with that. It sucked badly, bro. Dude.
It's crazy. And Hanare came back in that Knockout Brothers tag match, and I was like, wow, he's like the only good part of his tag team. And I'm watching this run, I'm like, ooh, it's rough when I see Hanare on the match graphic, brother. I do want to say the Shingo Yoda match is really, really good. It's the best Shingo match I've seen in a long, long, long time. Everything kind of really worked for me, and the finish pop out of nowhere is really nice too. So I didn't get to say that, but yeah. You're good.
Sorry, I'm trying to move through everything, but I'm glad that you liked it.
Narita, Shingo, or not Narita, Hanare was brutal. Justice for Dick Togo. Next, we finally got to the Drilla Newman match.
like I said, this one wasn't terrible to me, but it was actually probably one of my one of the Drilla matches I liked more. I thought they kind of worked well, maybe because they'd worked a lot before, and Drilla didn't have as many issues with like communication. But it seemed like they sort of knew what to do here. My favorite, one of my favorite high spots of the G1 so far happened in this match where Drilla or Newman is going through that big shotgun drop kick, that he's been doing, but Drilla instead gets him in a back body drop and just absolutely launches him into the crowd. It looked sick, and I can't believe the type shit Newman is willing to do.
See,
there was some...
That was like my problem with it. It's like, that looked awesome. I was like, that's perfect. He did the spot a bunch of times. It's a perfect like inverse of it. But then he still does the spot later, and it looks crappy. It looked like he had worse impact. It looked like it hurt him more than it hurt Drilla. Like, Drilla's chair got like barely moved, and it's like, and he did it like less than 2 minutes after he got thrown into all those chairs. Yeah. Like, he doesn't understand pacing at all.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I don't like the spot either. It always sort of slows the match to a crawl. The other really cool thing that happened in this match was that Daiki Nagai at one point makes the save after Zane J tries to interfere, and then Nagai hits the absolute most sick fucking tornado DDT you've ever seen in your life. He looks like a goddamn superhero. Just like, Cooper, you need to go find a clip of this. It really is sweet. Nagai is a little freak, and I hope that he joins the main roster very soon, and because he is as ready as Fujita was when they just skipped his whole excursion. Drilla is actually able to pull off the win here. He ducks out of Kiss the Crown and he gets hit with Kiss the Crown, kicks out and then escapes the make way, hits his own Drilla Killa and gets the win there. Drilla's getting a little mini push. Again, he's not my favorite, but whatever. Then we got Gabe Kidd versus Zack Sabre Jr. in the main event, and for some reason,
is there ever an end to any of these fucking matches?
This is the last one, Cooper.
Oh my god! Okay,
the very
Cooper
last
walked
one.
away for 20 minutes, and we still talk for another.
I thought I gave you enough time to fucking talk about them.
Oh my god! And this is the last one, and this was a total dud. For some reason, they just could not get on the same page in this one. It wasn't that really. Honestly, what it was, I think, is that this is just a classic example of a match being ruined by the crowd just not giving a single fucking shit about it. Because there was not any reaction. And this already was a much lower turnout than the night before. It was in the same venue as in Oda General Gymnasium. But I don't know, Zach, as much as we love him, has never been a big main event draw, and it was a Sunday afternoon show after a very hot Saturday night show. So just a lot of people that went, I assume, were probably already burnt out, and it was a lower turnout. So just really quiet crowd. That might be why the show was so bad. Yeah, I don't know. This was just, and this, to mimic how Cooper's feeling, this one was long as fuck for no reason. It went like 25, I think. And I just did not care for it. None of it worked. I don't know. Zach was not being lazy, but he didn't seem as fired up as I would have hoped. At one point, Kid starts like doing some honestly pretty nasty heel work where he's like trying to get Zach to bite on his cowskin boots because Zach's a vegan and everything, and it did actually make me uncomfortable, but the crowd just didn't.
That's funny.
So, it was funny. But the crowd just, I don't know if they didn't know what was going on. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because, it was Roman Reigns, like, shouting at the camera to get you to understand what's going on type shit. But nobody cared. I mean, it was cool for me, but, like, again, it didn't elicit a reaction. Zach hits Zach Driver at the end, and Gabe actually is able to kick out of that, which is honestly a thing that I think not many people do. It was like it's like the proper like spinny Zach Driver. It's different from the catching one, even though I know that sounds stupid. But he kicks out like the real legit Zach Driver, and then Gabe gets up, tries to hit, and I'm getting confused. I'm just getting into here. Kid hits Oni. Zach catches it, tries to get the Zach driver again, misses, and then they trade blows for a little bit, but Gabe connects with a big knee and then hits him with like all his finishers. He hits him with a regular pile driver, and then he hits him with another one, and then he hits him with drill a hole, and then he gets the dub and says he is going to win the G1, win the World Heavyweight Championship, and take it back to defend it in a real fucking promotion, AEW, and wrestle in the Continental Classic this year. So there you go. That was 4 shows worth of the G1 Climax.
We're going to start with the G1 next week.
I'll be back next week.
We're going to start with the G1 next week.
All right.
Yeah. I would have more to say, but I don't care. Let's hit this outro.
It's been a long show, yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Strongest Style of Pro Wrestling Podcast. That has been it for us this week. We'll be back next week with a few hours of rousing wrestling content. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Strongest Style. You can follow me at Logan Harrison. You can follow Jack at Average Darth. Cooper, any last words?
Honk. Shoo.
I gotta get up in like 6 hours. We will see you guys later. We appreciate you all for listening. Please like, subscribe, share if you're listening on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bang!